Tammy, I have 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Did everybody receive the previous minutes and have a chance to go over them?
I'll make the motion to accept the previous minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second that motion. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor of accepting the previous minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I will abstain as I was not here. Finances. You should have one of these things up there too, sorry. There was a lot of papers today. It all got filed.
Build the tree.
Yeah, there it is.
Did you guys get your little cheat sheet that I handed out?
And he handed this out.
I can go through it fairly quickly. Don't worry too much about it.
Huh?
So if you have the reports you have this time around that I cleared with you last time, I made one change because John pointed out the negatives were kind of jarring. So I couldn't customize it too much, but I could make the negatives in parentheses, which I found that for me at least seemed much more readable. So anything in parentheses, as it says here, is basically what used to be called the amount remaining in your budget. So same number, just QuickBooks describes it differently as the amount over budget. But I think the parentheses, if you agree, I can put the negatives back. That was one thing I was able to do. But if you're okay with that still, then all three reports this time around are that same format.
So just to be clear, if there's parentheses, that's the remaining amount in that budget.
Correct. So that's a good,
Which is opposite. of the way it would be.
You also see it because next to it, you got the percentage, that's the percent of the budget. So the two together, I think
Okay,
you should be, hopefully you can figure it out and it just this way, it's all kind of already in there and can come out with the click of a button.
Okay.
The second one, this is just, there's a few accounts where you had a budget for electricity, for example, we had a total budget, but when we write the checks, we break it out north-south. And it just comes out on the report a little bit differently, where the budgeted amount comes out as its own little entry that says other, which isn't really an account of any kind. It's just the way QuickBooks does it. So if you look at that, you'll just see the total line. You can, I don't know, you're looking at the. Sorry to keep you hanging here on this, but if you have the income expense for the town, do you have that one in front of you by chance?
yeah, it's third page in.
Yeah, so just to break down electricity, there's only a handful of these, but you'll see that the budget is in total 1,500.
Yep.
And just the way the report kicks out, it has that as a separate line with the budget. So if you're like me and you look, and immediately it looks off, but it's the total electricity line is the one that makes sense. And that was all. I just, because I had sort of looked at it and said, what the heck's that? And then I realized
That makes more sense.
I had done it to myself, essentially. And the font, Max is back there too, but I tried to fit it on as little amount of paper as possible. But if it's too small to read, I can change that. You'll just have more pages like you did before.
You good?
I'm good. All right, so just let me know, but that's one thing that if your eyes are worse than mine.
Can I just ask a question? And maybe
Yeah,
this is
no, go ahead.
possible. Would it be possible to have it two-sided, double-sided rather than single?
Yes,
pages?
if you prefer that, I mean, do you guys like that? Some people get confused and get lost. Sometimes I get lost with double-sided, but yeah, that's even better for. Absolutely, it's really just your printer prints that way, so.
Yep.
All in favor?
Yep.
Okay. And the library budget, I just received the 2024 from Wendy. I don't think that was here before, so the next report that'll be on there. That one's been missing in action because neither Vera, I checked with her, it seems like it never was here before. And I do have it now. I just didn't have time to put it in for tonight's meeting. QuickBooks upgrade, I talked to John about this, which was the way we were going to coordinate it. And after not receiving any feedback from about 5 different people at QuickBooks, I sat here on Friday and got on the phone and stayed on the phone until I had what you guys have in front of you somewhere, which is the final proposal for them. I think that is around $1,600 for a yearly subscription.
Okay.
With a 20% discount. The only caveat to that is that for the first year, you have to pay the full amount to get the 20% discount.
But it's when I looked at it, it's still almost a third of what we were.
I think it's worth doing, yes. And I mean, you're sort of,
Right.
even if you pay it up front, you've got next year, 5 months prepaid. I would think that's still a better deal to do that. If you guys
And we,
have permission to do that, because I'd like to get that in place.
and we had budgeted 25, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think you're still right in the budget,
Yep.
which leads me to the next one. It's kind of an odd subscription you have currently. I looked it up because Josh had mentioned, well, how are we 3 months in already spending $1,500 or whatever it was? And the way your current subscription is, I didn't print this all out for you, but I printed it for myself, is that so yearly, it's automatically deducted from your credit card. But January and February, it pulls $600 or $700, 2 months. And then the rest of the year is just like a usage fee of $50 or $60. So I don't know if we'll be able to get a credit for that. I have no idea. That's a very weird way of doing a subscription, but it's consistent because I look back at 2023 was the same. And I think it was a treasurer not named Vera that had set this up way back. So I don't honestly know how it was set up. I'll at least ask them and see if we can get a credit. If not, I don't think we have too many options. So we have permission to just go ahead and get that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we'll get it in place. I figure we'll do payroll tomorrow with the old system. And this way, if I implement this week, if something goes bad, I'll have a week and a half to try and figure it out before I have to write the next payroll. So that's,
So we voted 2 meetings ago, so you and John are.
you did. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing anything outside the.
No, that's all.
Yeah, I thought so too. So.
Doing good.
Third on the list, if you didn't already know this, Vermont's charging you from July for this childcare contribution. And you don't really have much of a choice. You just have to start paying this. The only thing you could do, I summarized the 2 or 3 pages that, again, you might have already seen this. You could choose to pull a quarter of that from your employees that you're paying, which to me seems very unfair. If it were a company, not a municipality, maybe, but you'd be making your employees who are doing the work of the town pay a quarter of it where no one else did. I personally think it's kind of just a town expense. You just have to start paying, but you're going to start seeing it on a warrant. It'll be another column like the Vermont tax that I think I added the budgets together and it looked like about $1,000 a year. So only 500 probably for this year for the 2 town and the road together. Just that'll be something that you really don't have any decision. We just have to start.
I'll say at this point, I think that's a town expense and.
Yeah.
Can't win that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my gut feeling was it
Yeah.
didn't seem
Gotta love
fair
when the
to.
state commits our money.
Right.
Yeah.
They're good at that.
And we have, you may know this or not. I never know if people know everything here or nothing or somewhere in between. So currently we have the computer printout, the checks for the road and the town and the library. And then we have like 10 other manual checkbooks. They're all handwritten checks and stuff. And I would just like to, and maybe I have the power to do this without asking you as a treasurer, I don't know, but just move at least the ones that have some number of checks, just get printed QuickBooks checks. And there's no real added expense to it because the QuickBooks subscription covers 99 different entities, accounts, companies, and it just for auditors and for everybody, it just seems like the cutting was the one that's coming up that I said I'd rather have printed checks where you have all the names you're writing checks for on the computer, one place. And if you void one or anything, everything's all done the same way. So unless you have any, people are still going to get checks written to them. It's just instead of it being handwritten with a name on the check and the name in the register and a name in a spreadsheet, we'll just put the names and addresses as they come from you or whomever into the computer and then print out the checks. And if someone receives a second check for the year, I don't know if that happens, they'd be in the system already. So you wouldn't be writing the same amount. Do you send like scholarships?
Yeah,
Does the same person get more than one or just one?
They could,
They're
yeah.
written 2 checks to a year.
Yeah, okay. So you have them in there for the second check and you wouldn't have to handwrite.
They're awarded, last year was $1,500 each and it was $750 twice a year.
Well, that's right. So I mean, it just makes it a little more efficient is all, and it's not a huge deal, but I just figured I'd ask you.
Yeah,
No, I don't
I
either.
don't,
Yeah.
I don't foresee any.
And just to make everything work the same way. For again, so anybody has a question, you can go in and auditor, you, anyone, there's one place you could go and have all the information there for the most part.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
I think
Uh,
will that save Kathy a step too?
No,
No.
this will not.
Okay.
This will save me a step.
Okay.
But it's not doing it for selfish reasons, totally. Although I hate writing handwritten checks, I confess, but. Correct. So right now, as I say, you've already got this for the town. You got like big box of checks for the town, big box for the road and a slightly smaller box for the library. There'd just be a fourth, probably even smaller one, because I don't think there's more than maybe 50 checks or something. But even for our church where I'm treasurer, it's still just easier to have everything kind of confirmed and on there before you print it. And
Mhm.
I'd be less likely to make mistakes too.
Yep.
So there's that.
Sounds.
And the only other thing I couldn't remember from last time, but I thought you said the repair, there was actually more in there because you get a grant, and I thought you said 35,000.
So what it is, Tom, is we try to maintain 35,000 in the repair fund.
Okay,
And so like this past year, there was, what is it, $7,000? Yeah, $7,000 left over.
Yep.
So we only voted in the 28 to bring it back to the 35.
okay.
You know, so we try to, every year we try to
So
bring
you're
it back
rolling
to
it over
35
from-
and yeah.
From the previous.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
so is that right? Is that more accurate to just have 35,000 in there as the budget? number? That's under the direct tax.
Yes.
And I had that written down and then I second guessed and said,
Yes.
was that what you told me? And that's all that last question was, just confirming that.
Yep. Right, so we're taking
35,000 from the direct tax this year, 2024.
It was 28 is what it was, I think.
Right, you're taking 28. We should have had 7 left over.
Yes, I think and again, it was more just on paper so that that report looked more accurate, I think was what started it. And that's why I changed it. So it's,
Yeah.
I put it back if that's.
that looks right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 35 budgeted, we spent 9, so 25,9 left. So,
Well,
yep, no, that's exactly what we wanted.
And that's pretty much it. All I had on my questions and or answers.
Did anybody have or see anything for Tom?
nothing's jumping out.
Looks good to me.
And you can let me know, you know where to find me. And,
Hey, thanks for your help with the ARPA reporting, finding all that document.
oh yeah, no problem. I was glad and surprised that I actually found an answer for you. Yes, after only a few months of being here.
Excellent, thanks, Tom.
Checkbooks.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Next up, Linda.
I sent this out, everyone, but this is the one that requires the signature
Okay.
and.
So Linda, in your document,
Yes,
just a quick question. You mentioned, I can't remember the exact term, but you mentioned a board in like the first paragraph. I can't remember what.
a
what it's called.
downtown board.
Downtown board. Thank you very much. So I just didn't know, is that already in place? Who's on it?
It's at the state level,
Okay,
okay?
okay,
And this is a state program,
okay.
okay?
Yeah.
And so remember when Jim Cameron was here? Was it last week?
Yeah.
Or your last meeting, and he was talking about tax credits?
Uh-huh.
And he just learned the benefits of tax credits. Well, this village center designation, that's one of the benefits of having that, being part of that program,
Yeah.
okay? So I learned a lot from doing this. So I got a little frustrated at the beginning, and I probably copied you on an email, and I got squared away. And so the situation is, yes, our village center map needs correcting, but this is not the time to do it. It needs to be done when the town plan is done. If we were to say, okay, halt, stop everything, because we want to fix this map, it would suspend those benefits. And with so much going on with Brigham Academy, we don't want to sabotage that. So this just,
Now,
I do, but that's for a signature copy. Yes, part of the record after you got all the signatures.
Now, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Nikki, and I know Tammy just left, who sits on the planning commission, the town plan is due 2026 November.
Yeah, so we'll start that work. There's a grant that we get to do that. And I think we're applying for that at the end of this year. And so it'll be 2025. We'll have time to do the work, which I think is quite extensive.
Yes.
And then 26. Town meeting day, 2026 is when it gets voted on. It has to be voted on by the town.
And at town meeting, Bill said, you know, people from the community that want to participate in that and provide
There'll be
input.
lots of,
Yes,
we're
so,
hoping that people will
yes,
get involved.
so hopefully, yeah.
There'll be
the word gets out and they will
opportunity, yeah.
come and they'll give their input. But, and Lance, I hope you don't object to my making you the point of contact because you got your finger in the pot with the Brigham residents and that's the biggest thing going on right now.
Third it.
You're welcome. That's the least I could do. And so Greta Brunswick from Northwest Regional Planning Commission assisted with this.
Okay.
So, and she was sending you folks a letter saying that, you know, that they're in agreement with the continuation of the village center designation program for Bakersfield.
That'll make more grants available for the
Yes.
Brigham project.
And
Yeah.
tax credits.
Yes.
I learned a lot. See?
Excellent.
You, sir. Point of
Point of contact. with
Point
the
of
board.
contact. They wanted a point of contact.
Congratulations.
Exactly. Well, Linda, thank you.
You are welcome. And then while I'm here, I've got one more question. I see that in your budget, you got $750 for portalet. Does that include the one over here by the little garage?
It didn't, I think it was for the 4th of July.
That's a lot of money for the 4th of July.
Well, I think
They're in multiple,
half of that one over there.
right?
I think it's half us and is it half,
Conservation.
is it half conservation committee?
Yep. Right.
Yeah,
So you're doing half of it?
yeah.
Okay, because they contacted us and it's like that quandary about, you know, cemetery funds.
Right.
Portalet. Our residents don't use them.
I want to think.
I'm pretty sure that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the conservation committee had half and we had half
Right.
of that one. And then the rest of it is for
Yes,
the
yeah.
4th of July.
To get two in one.
Historical Society opens their back door
Right.
for that bathroom too,
Yes.
so I don't know, you
Right.
might be able to cut back on your portlets.
The biggest cost,
Have enough, so the idea was, we wanted an extra because of.
yeah, well, we didn't have any last year,
Right.
but the biggest cost was, we have to have one that's handicap accessible.
Right.
And the handicap one costs more.
Right.
So that was where the biggest cost come from. So.
Just need a little temporary ramp over there and the bathroom is handicap accessible.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good to know. Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. And I'll copy you on this.
Thanks.
Next up, Nancy.
Hi, everyone. Nancy Patch, here with Forest Parks and Rec, and I have a colleague, at least one colleague on the, coming in on Zoom, I think Claire Precis. So,
Yeah, sure. Hello, Claire.
Is Alan with you?
No.
There's an Alan up there that I don't recognize too.
Cox is there, but, so I don't know if Claire has an opportunity to introduce herself. But I'm here to just follow up, based on request, to figure out when might be a good time to meet up on site and take a look at the issues that are at the top of the mountain and along the road. So I have other kind of ideas. I shared some thoughts that I sent to you all via email. I can address those issues as well, if you want to go into that. So really, it's finding a date, talking about what the next steps are, and going from there.
I'm assuming we're gonna need a weekend day to go up to the top of the mountain.
Why would you need a weekend?
well, where we.
Some of us work.
Sunlight, you know.
Well,
Some
I
of
mean-
us do have jobs.
Okay, it's 7:19 right now, and we've got another hour of daylight.
What day do you want to?
Well, I'm just saying,
No. What
It's-
day do you want to?
I don't want a Friday, I don't want a Saturday, I don't want a Sunday.
And I was going
And I
to,
will go to my family calendar right now and I will tell you what other days I don't want, so.
recommend Mondays because, Monday, perhaps before the meeting. It's not it wouldn't take a lot of time up there. I don't think we need to walk the entire road, just to go up and see the
You
entrance
you need us
issues.
to go all the way to the pond, though.
Yeah, we can drive
I
almost up
wasn't
there.
here last weekend, so I only have what I've been told, yeah, and
Yeah, we could drive all the way up to, just past the Baker, driveway, and that's where the old landing was, basically where the turnaround is.
so just before the staircase.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The left.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll bring this.
So the next meeting is on Memorial Day, which I want to bring up anyhow. So after that, it's June 10th.
That would work for me, I think.
Or next
Like-
meeting.
Would June 10th be out of the question?
June 10th is a bit of an issue for me. I have an astronomy workshop at Lake Carmine that goes until 4, so that, I'm running that, so.
I'm working, so I'm not getting up here till at least 6 o'clock at night. I'm
Okay.
gonna- You know, right off the bat.
And I wonder if we couldn't, again, not limit the number of people here, but
Right.
if we could try for a lesser agenda on that day and possibly start a half hour later. So if everybody was up there, that would give us till 7:30.
7:30.
On the 17th, perhaps?
Yeah.
The 17th makes sense?
June 17th is the
I
third
have,
Monday.
I have a graduation that day.
What about May 20?
Let's try,
Monday.
let's try. I actually can't until June, honestly.
So we're looking at June anyhow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so another night is also fine. I just, for some reason, thought Monday made sense because that's when we all meet.
Yeah.
And, but
Is
I'm perfectly happy picking a different date.
is the 24th?
It's that.
That's the day before our meeting.
Yeah.
There's the day of our meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
24th works fine for me. It's a ways out, but
It
that
is.
certainly works for me. Claire, does that work for you?
She's muted. She's gonna be.
Yes. Can you guys hear me now? Yes, the 24th works for me.
So we will plan a site visit for June 24th,
16.
6 P.M.
You know what? I can try to get out of work early
And
if we want it earlier, because if we're up here, we're not gonna make the meeting.
Okay, I can move in.
5:30.
well, that's why I said we could push the meeting start time back to 7:30.
Right.
So 5:30 would be awesome in case, you know, that.
We'll do that.
I mean,
5:30.
I can make it. I just have this.
I don't care, I'm on vacation.
Right.
Not too hard, I am the boss.
5:30, site visit, meet at the landing on Belvedere Mountain Road.
Or if people want to meet at the bottom, we can carpool up to. It's your car needs.
Not much
It's a tough ride to the very top. Your cars need to be able to do that.
Nice side by side.
Yeah.
But I can get in touch and maybe we can meet, some of us can meet at the bottom of the hill, because my car won't go there.
Right.
Claire, I don't know, can you, allow Claire to just introduce herself and?
Yeah,
so-
absolutely. If you wanna unmute yourself and tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. Thanks, Nancy, and thanks to you all for having us again. My name is Claire Pulfus, and I am the Recreation Program Manager for the Department of Forest Parks and Recreation. I work statewide on recreation planning and policies, and often get involved to help out with some of these kind of bigger or issues that come up sometimes with recreation, whether it's on public or private lands. And so Nancy contacted me to see if I might be able to help out, and I said sure. And I'm happy to visit with all of you and find out more about how we can better support the town to figure out this situation up on Belvedere Mountain.
As you all know, I'm retiring at the end of June, so, that's where the state wants to stay, involved. This isn't typically a county forester, issue. So, that's why I explained in the last meeting why I brought other folks in from the department. Dave Wilcox, who you met the last time, he would be very interesting staying involved as well, particularly as a technical advisor. So he would have access to his expertise as well. So would you like to go ahead,
Is-
Josh?
Dave Wilcox, the name sounds really familiar. I wasn't here. Is he
He's the AMP watershed forester, so you would,
worked with him with leaps?
yeah, you would know him for sure.
Yep.
He's probably been involved with all of the trade centers.
Yep. For sure.
Should we, because this is what, 5 weeks out?
Yes,
Should we maybe set up the next thing now so that we're not, we have the site visit on the 24th and then it's another month before we do the next thing? I'm wondering if
yeah, I remember having a conversation about those next steps and what, if there's any way that we can help with that. So, do you mean by the next thing?
just what you get if we're going to be getting something on the agenda, or, if we get that sort of have an idea of what that might be when, or is that impossible?
I apologize. I'm in the dark here. What are we looking at next steps? I mean, have we discussed what the next steps are?
Possibility of
Yeah.
locating and putting signage up for where the road is, and signage also that indicates this is where the trail is, and you're not really allowed to go off the trail.
Right.
Okay.
That was kind of the first step that we took.
But there was also some interest, I think, from the groups that were here. It was the Wheelers Association.
Yes.
Northeast.
Yeah.
Is on your agenda?
There are a lot of people who are willing to help us with
It just
that.
seemed like there was some momentum,
Yeah.
and having that community buy-in, I think, is really key.
Able to do what he wants.
Right.
before you say-
Right.
say even.
No, it'd be after.
Yeah, they come back and talk to us about coming back to the building.
They do.
Yeah, that's what I understood.
It's a national holiday, just saying.
Right.
Just put that out there, I don't know, but it is a national holiday.
We'll discuss that.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're having time, it would be awesome as well. I really do recommend, I've done this in lots of different places over the years. I do recommend that a committee is formed that gives a voice to the ATV community or HV community. Get that right. As well as other public entities, the Conservation Commission. I kind of made a list of other just interested members of the public. Of course, everyone could be involved, but having a committee that actually is formed, that is a regular meeting committee to talk about kind of the issues. I do remember that there were several people in the room that would offer to help in whatever way.
Some of the property owners up there. I think,
That
yeah.
the property owners are certainly
Right.
of interest in this, but even the rural community had mentioned things like this would be a place where we wouldn't mind spending a little bit of money. It wouldn't be expensive. I did make a suggestion that there could be signage. I looked up some signage. It's really fairly inexpensive. You could even work with the trades school where Josh is, and with the building trades. And we built a wonderful kiosk for us years ago in Eastburg. We wanted to have an information kiosk at one at this end,
Yeah.
so that it explains to people what's going on and how important the wetland is, and then with all of what's been going on over the years, there is a bit of a test with the signage, and I think the landowners would be somewhat reluctant to be spending their money until it goes by, and when the community is actually offered already, and they get their own folks, there's more of a self-policing that goes on, more buying to that. And that's something that they're doing rather than the landowners and the signage up. So, you know, that's where Claire comes in. She's, like I said, it's so funny when I. Actually, but, it's that Claire can actually help with all of that kind of conversation as well.
So Nancy, if I could, I happy to hear you're retiring in June. Congratulations. Who's taking over for you?
We don't know that yet. The notice has been gone out and applications are coming in. So
It's probably good if they're in the loop on June 24th.
they will probably be in the loop. That's the hope. The hope is that there's going to be an overlap, and regardless of whether they're in the loop that day, they will be informed of all that's been going on. There's a lot I need to hand over.
Josh has been a forest supervisor.
Is the certain person that we know very well, has he applied?
I have no idea. I'm out of it. I have no subjectivity
Okay.
or objectivity. I have tons of
Yep.
subjectivity. So no, I don't actually know.
Nancy, and one question I had is, did you guys talk to the Belvedere side about any ATV traffic that comes in from that side that could be causing the issue?
It's an excellent question, and I do think that's something the community should be talking about. There has been conversation with folks on the Belvedere side, but not to any great extent. It's really Waterville, so the road
That's
starts in
yeah,
Belvedere
right.
and goes through Waterville for a stretch.
Right.
And that road is actually in, I think, okay condition, and it doesn't have the wetland complex.
Okay.
But you're right, that has to be part of the conversation.
Okay, thank you.
They are definitely using it as access to the wetland area.
Absolutely, everybody goes back and forth, and yes, so it's.
School bus up there a couple of years ago.
Forgotten about that.
Stolen right off my property.
But we'll not say any more about that.
Yeah, that's enough of that. So I think, as you said, I think if we were to do the site visit and allot Nancy a spot as a visitor to discuss next steps.
Yep.
And at that point, I mean, that is end of June. Quite possibly there could be the next person in line that you could bring with you so that we can get to know them, know who we might be working with along with Claire. And
Just for clarification, that was Monday, the 24th, right?
correct.
Right.
Monday, the 24th at 5:30. We'll meet at the bottom of Belvedere Mountain Road.
Right.
Yeah, and again, the county forestry connection to this really is the landowners that are adjacent, who are all in the current use program.
Now, who owns the actual arena now? Is that Maple Horizon or?
It's mostly, Manchester Lumber,
Okay.
Manchester Investments, and the Baker family. They both, the Bakers have a smaller portion of it, but Manchester Investments owns the bulk of the wetland.
Okay. And that was just a me question. That doesn't.
No, I do have a follow-up on that. Has anybody gotten any response from Manchester yet?
Yeah, yes, CJ, I talked to CJ and he was out of town, he couldn't attend the meeting, he was planning to come remotely, just appreciative that people are addressing the issue. I think that the Manchesters were reluctant to, I can't speak for them, I shouldn't say that.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks, and like I said, and stay engaged while I'm still here, and there's, speaking of retirements, there's some things that are just really hard to let go.
See you on the 24th.
Next up, Jamie Curtis.
Excuse me.
Hey,
First time I'm like sitting here with all your electronics.
Don't let it intimidate you.
Anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Jamie Curtis. Most of you already do. We run a maple business up on Hill Road. And I'm here to discuss improvements we can do to our road for the future. Once upon a time, that road was a 1-2 house road, and then currently now, there's roughly about 14 kids that go up and down that road multiple times a day with school and, back and forth, and as well as about 14 people, each having their own vehicle, so there's a fair amount of traffic on this small section of road that it is. I know you have a lot of other roads that need service as well, but I figure our road's a very short road. It's not like it's 5 miles long or at the top of some, whatever mountain road, but it's like to see some attention that it needs. And I'm not saying everything at once, but if we could, one year do a little bit of this, and then next year, okay, that spot got bad, let's fix that spot. And I think that if we progressively work to get the road better, it will only help us all in the long term.
Now, do you have any issues on the road right now? Cause I know we talked earlier and I talked with Mac, and Mac put a significant amount of material
Yep.
and time into that road. And the last time I went up that road, it was, if not better than the other roads in town, but it's in good shape, Jamie. I mean,
Yep. And it did well. There's one spot where by Tony's house, on the corner where the ledge is there, and I understand that it's always been there, but that's like the majority of the worst spot. We need, I know you guys have been shorthanded, but we're still driving on crushed stone. And so, I mean, I know as time goes on, it'd be nice to get that.
I mean, are you talking crushed stone as in like big stuff, or are you
Like
talking
inch and a half.
3/4 inch and a half?
So I'm saying, it'd just be nice to work that back into the road, because I feel like whatever you put into the road, it's not like it's gonna wash away. And basically, there's some improvements. Maybe some ditch work on the sides of the road and in a few places where give the water a chance to run, out of the road and away from the road. And then maybe, I guess what I wanted to say is maybe one of you guys or a couple of you guys, we could get together and just meet for an hour and walk the road and just talk about it.
I'm pretty familiar with the road. I travel
And
it on a
yep.
regular.
Yep.
The biggest issue I think you're gonna have with that road is it's cut into a side hill.
Yeah, I know it's
Okay.
ledge.
So, I'm not saying that road has been perfect by any means. I'm not saying that. But the amount of extra that we can do on that particular road is limited by the material that's there, the ledge. For instance, the corner you're talking about by
Yep.
Tony's. Unless you were to tip that entire road the other way, right? So it sloped towards Tony's away from that ledge. You're gonna have that. There's literally 3 feet to ledge. It's,
If we get together and go for a site visit, it would be helpful.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not saying no, like, I'm not being negative to anybody. Our road was great this winter. Maybe once or twice that I call up, you know how it is, you can be raining over here and freezing over there. The town does an excellent job of maintaining our road when it comes to the plowing and the sanding. You can't expect your snow plow drivers to go out 9 o'clock at night when they're not coming out until the next morning, so you gotta plan yourself accordingly for that.
yep.
Which is totally understandable. They did an excellent job on maintaining our road. It was just, like I said, if we can just improve the road a little bit every year, I think we like the stone you put back into it, like you said, next year that stone will always be there. And then, there's another spot. Let's look at this at one other spot I just want to show you, and maybe it'll be next year, but and when it's soft, if you put that material in the road and that stone goes into that hole, it's always going to be there.
Yep.
And like I said,
Okay.
it's a more traveled road than what it ever used to be. And I'm not just saying just from my part on the agricultural side. And if I had my way, I would rather not haul myself up that hill. My words.
Yeah, I think Mac would agree in that sentiment.
Yeah, like I said, we figured probably 200-something thousand gallons of sap that got trucked up that hill.
Yep, and
I understand that's more than.
that road was designed as a goat path connector to the county road and 108. It was probably never intended to be what it is now.
And this year I honestly think mud season really wasn't that bad. It was, but it wasn't.
Yep.
We had that warm up, but you guys, we understand that you can't haul a 10-wheel load of stone up there in the middle when it's sloppy mud. You gotta wait for it to freeze. And we appreciate all that the town had done to help maintain our road. and keep it passable.
Do you have? So we're into 24, right? So you're saying a site visit. Our next meeting is the 27th. As
I
you
mean,
heard,
even if you and I got together, Josh, just come up and,
well, and I'm okay with that, Jamie. You know, I have no problem coming up and visiting with you. We've done that a couple of times, you know, this year. But I think in order for this to be a board thing, you know,
yeah,
you're coming to the board with a concern.
yep,
I think we need at least a quorum, which is 3 of us there, so that we can see what you're discussing.
yep.
And it's not just me, where if I say, oh yeah, we gotta put, you know, 5 loads of stone in, Matt comes back and says, well, the only reason he's saying that's because he's buddies with James. You know, so
No,
we've
that's
gotta
cool.
make sure we get away from that. That's, you know, that small town. I know him, he knows me, we're scratching each other's back.
Perfect. More than better.
So, is the 27th? This is a short site visit. I almost feel like if you could get there, if we could be there for 6:30, we could walk that easily in a half hour.
I just say it again, that's Memorial Day.
All right, yes, you're right. Sorry, John, sorry.
You say, we planned a family get together.
Yep, no, so the 10th,
June 10th,
June 10th. 6:30, bottom of Pudville Hill.
5:30? We have a meeting at 7, right?
Yeah, I said it's not gonna take long. The whole road's 3 miles.
As long as we're good, I
It's
got.
like
15
how long?
set up.
Yeah, I said it's only about 3 miles.
6.
Yeah, the whole, yeah,
The whole- From top to bottom where we maintain, is it even 3 miles?
it's a half a mile.
No. Oh, no, wait, the Boston Post Road is 3 miles.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, okay, yeah,
Half a mile. Roughly.
yep,
About 6. It takes 15 minutes to set this meeting up. So even
Okay.
if it's a 10-minute visit, we're not gonna hit our meeting tonight.
6 o'clock.
Thanks.
That's all right, I don't like June anyway.
6 PM.
Where we're gonna meet.
Yeah, we're,
You're right at the bottom of Pudville Hill.
Okay.
you said the bottom. What
Yeah.
is the bottom? I no offense.
What is the bottom?
Where it is.
So.
If you don't know where the bottom is, you don't know where.
So, no, it's on 108,
Okay,
heading out of Bakersfield, the old, red and white schoolhouse sits on the right.
okay,
It's that road on the left.
okay. I got
It's
you.
all hill.
Would Josh, would it be
Yes.
okay with you if some
Thanks.
other people that have concerns that live on the road met us there as well?
And they from the town,
Yeah,
then they're welcome at the meeting.
great.
Yep.
And,
Now, not to be a smart ass, but I was kind of being a smart ass.
it's okay.
All right.
Not to, I know it's not on the subject, but how's the project coming along with the school for the sugar house?
We have a very nice building erected right now.
Great.
Roofs on, walls up,
Wow.
everything's, yep, it's,
Awesome.
what time did we say? 6.
6.
We said 6 PM.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
10th.
Yep. Putting it in the calendar, making sure. All right,
And thank you guys. And like I said, we look forward to visiting you and I'll be in touch with you before that, Josh, just to make sure that
yep.
That's it. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right. Chris.
Good evening.
Evening.
How are y'all?
Not bad, you?
Good, good.
How's the new baby? Congratulations.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
that's
one of the
right.
newest in Bakersfield. I don't know. I haven't checked. I haven't got the birth certificate yet, but he's doing great. Yeah,
That's
he's doing great.
But you have all boys, right?
All boys, all 3 of them. Yeah, we're repopulating the earth.
That's awesome.
My mother did it, so.
Sure, right. Same.
We're miserable, so. All right, so town constable duties. I did want to clear up one thing. You submitted that the ticket
Yeah.
and it wasn't this board. It's most of this board, but and we kind of shut it down. Sure, kind of. And I think I just wanted to be, so you're clear on why I voted to. In a situation where you know, if it was a police officer that was having an issue at their home or whatever, they would have to call in another police officer
Sure.
to handle it. In that situation, I think that the ticket was probably warranted. I understand that. I think the way that probably should have been handled was have the Enosburg officer come over and write the ticket, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just because then you don't have the conflict of interest.
Sure.
I mean, I know where you live this out of this weekend. I know where that dog's coming from.
Yeah.
It was probably a warranted ticket, but just the way that looks, you know, when you're giving a ticket to somebody for a dog on your land.
Yeah.
So that's what I.
And that being your first
Sure.
written ticket, so.
And if I could speak to it, I could
Yeah.
give some more depth to it too.
Absolutely.
I did speak with Dylan many times prior. I brought Duke home a couple times, right? And good kid, he's a young man, good dog, he's a reasonable dog,
Yeah.
but full breed lab, right? And there's things that go along with that, and they like to get up, and that's fine. 2 nights prior, I brought the dog back, had a little conversation with Dylan, and I had told him, hey, this is my phone number. I'm the town constable of Bakersfield. I'm not coming to you as the town constable of Bakersfield, but if someone south end of town, west side of town, comes in with an issue, I told them I've never written a ticket before, but I can't, in my own conscience, in the same idea of a conflict of interest, I kind of take a different perspective, or maybe a dissenting perspective of that, to say that if it is on my land, I can't say, hey, the same way that you talk to him about, like, hey, I know you, you know me, like,
Right.
man, I brought your dog back 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, whatever it is. I'm not going to extend that same gratuity to someone that's not my neighbor, right? So I can't extend that gratuity to my neighbor. So that's kind of the perspective I had.
I can see both ways, yeah.
Yeah. And I gave him my phone number, and I told him next time he's out, just give me a call, right? Just give me a call, because 10 times out of 10, I'm just gonna go out the back door and say, Duke, come, and then all of a sudden the dog's in my hand, and then I'm just gonna bring him back to your house, man. It's no big deal. That wasn't the case, right? And so that was my decision at that point to kind of enforce it.
Yep.
And I thought it was a small little reminder, kind of say that there are consequences, right? And I extended a gratuity to, I gave a full explanation at 10:30 PM to him about that, right? And I understand he's a working guy, and I understand that I am also a working guy, and I just kind of wanted to explain that I don't know, wasn't an altercation whatsoever, but that incident that resulted in that ticket.
Yep.
And I didn't want to write that ticket. I don't want to write tickets because it's not straightforward either, right? Because I'm writing town bylaw or town ordinance tickets on state paper, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Right. And it, like, if you look at the ticket, I had to cross out like VSA number, nope. Right. So I guess my concern is I came to the town originally, I only have a 2-page document to enforce, right?
Right.
I haven't been down to Pittsford. We've talked about that before. If that's what I am to enforce, I kind of want to know that I have the town's or the board's backing. And I understand fully that that you guys are the boss, right? And this is your ordinance. This is your town. We've elected you, right? You represent us. But when I go out and do those actions, that my judgment is backed somewhat. I kind of didn't feel that in that scenario, and I understand that there's dissenting opinions, and that's totally fine. We're all human beings, right? But I kind of want to know that there is that backing, because you know, I haven't built the town. I haven't done a single thing other than answer calls on odd hours and try to do my best. I asked for tickets because I wondered what would happen if I needed to ticket.
Yep.
I didn't volunteer for this job to ticket people.
Yep.
I had to rewrite that ticket 3 times because I couldn't figure out the format, right? It's not my thing that I want.
Well, and that was the thing, you know, we get this ticket and we're like, oh, crap, you know, like, I mean, if that had been the same thing and it was pissing off your neighbor,
Yeah.
mail it.
Sure.
You know, that was the catch I had.
Yeah.
You know, there were so many different ways that could have been looked at.
Sure.
I completely understand your point of view. You know, you extended that olive branch to your neighbor and he basically just whacked you with it and it pissed you off. And, you know, from us being on this side, we're like, it's a neighbor. Is he just pissed off at his neighbor because his dog keeps coming over and shitting on his lawn or, you know, whatever? I was just like,
There's enough shit there to be in. Got 3 of them my own.
so,
So Josh, I have a question. Yeah, what's the process when that ticket's like in my previous employment, when I wrote an administrative fine, it was given to the individual. They were given a date that they could appeal before it. At that point, it was our manager and someone else from the public to appeal if they wanted to that process. So is that the process here?
I'm not sure. I think you just sent that one to us, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah, what I did was, and I have a couple friends in law enforcement that are certified
Right.
law enforcement
Right.
officers, and I call them, right? And I
Right.
was like, man, and they showed me it, because
Right.
I told them I got ticket books, they're like, I was like,
Right.
hey, I need
Yeah.
to write these right. And then they told me I couldn't write them for any BSA, and I was like, okay.
You can't, if they're administrative fines, not state fines. That's the difference.
And so what I did with that specific time is I wrote it out. I gave one to him.
Yep.
I kept one in the book.
Yep.
And then I gave one, instead of mailing it to the
Right.
judicial bureau, which
Right.
obviously has a
Right.
purview here.
Yeah.
I just kind of set it on the front door because I was headed to work. And couldn't wait till 8.
So he does have a copy of that.
He does, yeah, absolutely.
So that's the question. I just think we need, before we do this, we need to clean that process
Yep.
up.
Yep.
So that it's very standard. And, you know, if they come before the board, who's the prosecutor? They can bring the attorney and they can defend themselves. That's kind of how we handle it.
Yeah, no, I handed it to him.
Okay.
I don't know if I messed up a receipt or anything, but there was, I went to his house with the dog, handed him, had a conversation and told him this, what I did, why I did it, and then headed on back home.
Yeah, because I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware that he received it, so.
Yeah, and he also never came in to even discuss it.
No,
He hasn't done anything towards it.
sure.
So, I mean, I do know that our ordinances are quite,
Vague.
well, they're clear in some things, vague
They're
in
very
other, and they're
clear on
very,
some things.
and they are very outdated in some scenarios. They really need to be rewritten, as we've all talked about time and time again about our policies, procedures, and ordinances. But, you know, I it is what it is. You know, to me, I'm a letter of the law guy. If it's written, we follow what's written. If it's not, we don't like it, we change what's not right. But policies in place, I follow policies. It makes my life easier when I have to go do something right, where if a policy's not followed, I go, hey, it's in black and white, my friend, or right here, follow the policy. So, I know the optics, like Josh said, there was a long discussion and it was lengthy.
Yeah, it was a long
Discussion about how to handle it, because the optics, because,
Sure.
you know, and I also explained, Duke was on my property the first day they moved in.
Sure.
The first day he was behind my house, we called them at 11:30 or midnight. And they came and picked the dog. They just moved into town.
Sure.
And, you know, dog took off and, you know, the problem is if you don't contain your dog, this is what's going to happen. I was just driving over. I just saw one running in the middle of the road. I told it to go home. I hope it turned up the right driveway. I have no idea. These dogs run all over the place.
But it's not an isolated issue, and if the town ordinance states that a dog running free is a dog running free, I could be in a full-time job.
Right.
Very much so,
Yeah.
right? I very much could. I get the most frustrated ends in a call, right? I don't get the, oh, yep, there's whatever, you know,
Yeah.
there's Skippy again, you know, out running around. I get, oh, they're chasing my chickens, they're chasing my livestock, they're threatening me or whatever they are. And,
Yeah.
or I just get a really frustrated person that hasn't spoken to their neighbor for 10 years, right? And I think that's more common than it isn't. So I guess if there is, and in it, it doesn't allow a whole lot of enforcement. I understand your point. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. I understand your point very much on the binary nature of letter of the law. I very much do. But I also understand the importance of discretion as well, because if I were to take, as is required, right, as is the required of the animal control officer, to go out and enforce that letter of the law, I'd be writing fines left and right, and then that would elevate. And I don't even have a place to take these dogs, because after the fourth time, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to take, I already have 3, right? You know, what am I supposed to do? I can't take them to a humane society right now. I can't take them out to somewhere that can't rehome a dog, you know? If you pull the thread, you keep pulling the thread. So that's where that discretion, I think, is really important. So whereas, yeah, sure, when he moved into town, the dog runs out, right?
Right.
Or somebody jumped their collar, or they have 2 huskies that just, this is the call I've gotten recently, is like, they take their dogs and they put 2 collars on them, and they have an underground fence, and those dogs are so stiff that they'll run right up to it, sit and wait on that collar till the batteries run dead, and then take off.
Smart.
Right? And it also, it's an extremely personal thing a lot of the time with animals, as it is for me. And that's the brunt of the work. I wish you guys had told me that up front. But
I remember saying.
I feel like-
On record.
That's fair. It's on record. It's a brunt of the work, but like, it's personal, and I don't mean to offend people personally. I don't mean to offend Dylan personally. I don't mean to offend the Patty family or anything like that. It's just, I'm just trying to use the discretion in the instances that I have to use it. And I'm very frank with the people that call, because most of the time it's, I'm sorry, I'm zip codes and sometimes area codes away from you, and I'm not able to help you. And that doesn't feel great either. But then there's I'm sorry, have you tried talking to your neighbor? Like, I have this document, it's a free document, you can look it up online. If it's breaking that, I can have a conversation, and that's the way I start at the bottom. I started a conversation. I've knocked on a lot of doors, and said, you know, this is what you're supposed to do. This is kind of animal husbandry 101. Like, this is your responsibility. But to think that, especially not inside the village proper, but Bakersfield wide, that people are leashing their dogs, that people are fencing their dogs, that people are out eyes on eyes with dogs all the time, I think is unreasonable, because that's how that ordinance is written. It's as if we're in a city center.
Yeah.
It's as if we're out, we're not in a rural area, and we're going walking dogs on leashes. You take a drive right now, and there's at least a dozen dogs with their owners out walking the roads, having no problems. But that's still, by the letter of that law, a violation of the ordinance. I'm not going to stop that person and re-educate them about the ordinance of the town of Bakersfield, because it's not caused a problem.
But you make my point perfectly then, that the ordinance is outdated, it needs to be updated, right?
Sure.
I mean, and that becomes a clear point. So I would say myself, you as the chief person who's handling the animal control for us, maybe should take a look at the ordinance and make some suggestions to us as we could update it so that it's more more in line with the job and what we
Along the
expect
string.
out here.
Yeah,
Right.
if you were like, hey, this isn't right, I think it should be more of this, or, and brought it to us, that's a matter of a simple vote.
Sure.
To adopt that ordinance in replace of the old one, updated, redate it.
Yep.
It's not at this level, it's not a big undertaking to change a town ordinance.
Use the term administrative fee, don't use the term fine. That gets you out of having to worry about the state side of
Oh,
things.
sure. All right.
That makes sense,
Do I
yeah.
use the ticket book then though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do I still use it?
And if
Yep.
there's another one like this,
Right.
that is neighbor, possible conflict, don't hesitate to call me.
Sure.
I have no problem signing the bottom of that ticket. I am, as all of us are, depending on who's available,
Yep.
we are your assistant.
Yep.
Constables.
Sure.
So
You're free
if
to
it's
call
an
me
issue,
anytime you need help.
I can sign the bottom, I can hand it over, and if there's any question, it's I signed in lieu of because of conflict.
Sure.
So.
And thank you so
Yeah.
much for doing this job. As the spouse of the former dog catcher. to be honest,
Yeah. No,
I know exactly what you're doing.
this has somehow been the last hour's been the most peaceful of my last month.
That are up to
so-
date. Or no, that's the
Yeah.
description.
Yeah. Chris, have you read this?
Why don't we have Tammy make a copy?
Oh, yes, I've been forwarded this by an actual police officer.
Okay.
Okay.
And they have shown me what is and what is not.
Yep.
I can give it a reread. If there's
No,
nothing there that-
if you've read it, I just wanted to make sure that you've had the opportunity to read it.
Yeah, no, that's kind of where it started with like, when we came back several months ago about.
Have you read this one's, when is this one printed? This,
Oh,
it's
this
been
was-
just updated.
It's updated in March.
Oh, then no, I have
No,
not. No.
this one's,
It's on the
no, this
website.
one's 2014, so
Whoa.
it's 10 years old.
That one is, but it has been
There-
updated
there's
within the
an
past.
amendment.
Yep.
Well, then maybe we can get Tammy, if we can get out the VLCT.
We know you printed one off, Tammy.
She did print one off. I've seen.
But I mean, he doesn't need the whole book. I mean,
No.
it's.
So
It's like duties and responsibilities
Yeah.
of town officers, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So the.
Yeah, see, he doesn't need that whole thing.
I read really slow.
Read this.
But yeah, if you could,
Constables, as well as.
Including, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That's not something that we gotta worry about right now, but if Tammy, you don't have to do that right now.
I'm gonna come in for a birth certificate real soon, Tammy.
There you go. If we can just have that on file so that he can get it.
I appreciate that. Don't put it on the top of the list.
yeah, Chris, if you could, just like what you're seeing, because you're dealing with it, like. A couple of years ago, I was dealing with it.
Yeah.
Lance dealt with it, Josh dealt with it. You know, I.
We've all been there dealing with
Done it a bit.
Yeah.
Not all.
problems that you're facing right now, and
Todd avoided the other side. Todd avoided it, and Nikki's too new, but trust me.
Oh, no, I've been involved. Sam did it
Oh,
for
wait,
years.
Sam did it. That's right, for years. So she.
I've had dogs in my barn. I've chased horses down the street. You
You know the challenge. Like I was knocking on doors talking to one individual several times and
Sure.
actually all three of us on this side were talking to the same individual several times and writing up things and explaining ordinances. It's difficult. And I said back then, we need to take a look at it. So with you having the responsibility of it, like really having it, like we were just part-time filling in, but this is like your responsibility per se. I really would like to see what your thoughts are and how we can update this document and get it to something that is what everybody feels is acceptable.
Again, not top of the pile, but you know,
Sure. Yeah, we got a big pile.
one day when you're, bored.
Yeah,
'cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
Three boys, I'm sure you're bored.
yeah,
If we need to rewrite a new ticket book, you can make those things from nothing.
Well, the state gave us a bunch of
State
them.
gave-
Well, I have, the state ones are hard, like, we don't use it, we did use it in the fire marshal's office.
Okay.
Because they're written more for the law enforcement.
Oh, sure are. Yep.
If you do your own, then you can write out what you want for the information.
Yeah.
Or it
There you go.
ordinance numbers such
Ordinance,
and
yep,
such.
okay.
And we put fee rate on there
And it-
versus
and it's
fine.
fee versus fine, yeah.
Right, right. So that may be something if you,
That
when
gets
you
you-
filled this out, if you think there's pertinent information, let us know. Maybe we can make a ticket book. Now, was this carbon? Was it like carbon or you had to write it 3 times?
Nope, it's carbon.
Okay.
It's
One thing we'll have to look at.
And you can.
I just don't know. They
only 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That don't look like 2024 to me, but anyhow.
It should. I wrote it 3 times. I took a lot of work that 10 o'clock at night.
So, yeah, like I said, if you have suggestions, what you think should be in the fields, that would be great, and we'll see what we can do as
Okay.
well.
I appreciate it.
Perfect.
No, thanks for taking on the task.
Yeah, thank you.
so dog ordinance isn't even on our website.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
there.
it is. It's in
It's there. Oh, it's there. I know a lot of people towards it.
So you
If
gotta
it's
go
not,
to-
I'm just lying to the public then.
No,
It's in there. It's.
Cause I reread it every time I get a call, I reread it.
Yeah.
right.
Where's the
Hey.
section in here? All right, we need to move on, but I'll tell you it later.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yep.
I was just looking to see when it was last
That's it.
updated, that's all.
I think
I
the
think the
names, I
photos-
think there's 3 names on the bottom, if that tells you anything.
Oh, boy. It's been a while.
Yep. So,
I think it was early 2000 or 2010, somewhere in the first 10 years of 2000.
I hate this
that's like
website.
brand new. Any other questions for us?
So I've gotten some other odd bod calls. I've had referrals to VSP. I've had 2 now. so I just kind of wanted to give you guys the feedback as the select board with the lieutenant that was here the last time I was here. That relationship is fine. It's working well. It's not elevated to like an investigative or anything of that nature. I get something, I refer it to dispatch. It's not like I'm calling the lieutenant personally. But it is beneficial. I know that there was some feedback from the board to the lieutenant that it was not as two-wayed. But they have been receptive. I had a call about some like at-risk minors, some drug-related stuff that I called VSP. They took me seriously. It was no issue. And I had on the back end, it's public, but I had a friend who is a trooper verify that it did get put into the system, that it was actually actioned, and that it was elevated to, you know, a trooper on the road actually conducting at least a preliminary investigation. And then I've also had something that I don't know if I'm able to do. I haven't done it, so that's good. But they've asked me to serve subpoenas. I've had 2 calls.
That is part of the
We're
deal.
good to go. Subpoenas is fine.
Be careful.
If you
Sure.
want to do that, yeah.
Sure.
For kids, be
Yeah,
careful with that.
yeah.
Don't knock the door down.
No. And I guess I'm comfortable with the process of the receipt and signing out, but they've asked for a fee. The attorneys have asked me to bill them a fee.
Do it.
There is.
Get sure, take their money.
Right now, as the town, I'm a town officer, acting as a town officer in that scenario. Is that a bill to the town of Bakersfield, or is that a bill to Chris Ward? And I guess that's where I've hesitated before. It's the sheriff's department, they bill it and it's billed to the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
And that's really who these lawyers need to be talking to serve these subpoenas to begin with. And I tell them that, but, there's standard fees, mileage fees that the sheriff's departments are very comfortable with billing for. But I didn't feel comfortable just, you know, sending a Venmo request to a lawyer in New York, you know.
I kind of feel like if it's documented through the town, I mean, you're the one performing the work.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wouldn't it be like clerk fees?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. another-
Yeah.
yeah.
So the money would go to you.
Yeah, because
But I think we need to have something.
It's gonna, yeah,
documented
we
that
need the
says
paper
that.
trail. Sure. This says it came from
An invoice or
this
something,
lawyer
all that.
to the town of Bakersfield to you as a clerk fee, which means there's no taxes.
Sure.
Right.
So I think invoice it to the town
Mhm.
and then
You
it would be turned around
Yeah.
and paid to you. Cause that you're doing the work. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason we should make the money on the work that you're doing. I mean, unless you're the town guys.
Gonna be.
Right. And then
Somebody wake him up.
I got the third last thing is, last time when we talked about Pittsford, talked about all this other stuff, pulled the thread pretty hard on it. And I just wanted to kind of recalibrate expectations of the board of me. I do now have 3 sons, 3 dogs, a full-time job that I believe is kind of changing in scope relatively soon, to be more demanding, right? I work in Jericho and it's going to be a lot more nights in Jericho and then abroad soon. So I just kind of wanted to clarify, I am comfortable taking the phone calls, fielding phone calls a lot of the time when it comes to the dog ordinances and standard constable things, but elevating myself to that certified law enforcement, I don't think that I have the capacity to fully go into that. And
So
do-
at this time, Todd has been going to meetings in Enosburg
yeah,
where they're, okay, supposed to be, whatever, he's, and they're in the process of looking into fielding their own
the police department, sure.
Yeah. So at this time, what your thoughts are,
Yep.
are what our thoughts are. You're doing the job we need you to do right now.
Yeah.
We don't foresee it moving to the next level. However, if, you know, Enosburg decides to start a department and that's something that you wanted to be interested in,
Sure.
you would get we'd write you a letter. in a
Right.
Heartbeat, if
Right.
that's
Yep.
something you're interested in. But, at this time, what you're doing is what we need. So I am happy with what's going on right now. I haven't heard any of the phone calls about running dogs, so I'm super happy.
No, we're good.
I think we're
We're good.
yeah,
We thought you were.
we're very pleased that you've stuck with it even through the confusion.
Yeah.
And we do need someone who's willing to contact people and deal with dogs.
Yeah.
And it's all something that we're tired of.
Sure.
Honestly, I've been on the select board for what, 16, I'm on my 17th year, I guess. And it's been dozens and dozens of times I've dealt with dogs and
Yeah.
it has never with the state police telling you you're not authorized to do anything.
Sure.
It's frustrating as hell for
Sure.
me personally.
Well, I'm happy to continue to be frustrated. I'm here for it, not moving out anytime soon, so. How's the course, I guess.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right,
Thanks, Chris.
thanks, guys.
Have a great night.
Next up, listers.
Listers.
Yes. It only took us an hour to get there, but we are there.
We are here.
No, it's fine.
Big meeting tonight.
Yeah.
Been a busy
I was
night.
hoping for like 11 o'clock or.
If you want to come up.
Well, that's
with
why I said
some
I mean.
Okay, this is John Hickory from Taylor Technology, and he's going to be able to help you a lot more tonight in this discussion.
Excellent. And Sue's on.
Yes. Up here.
Sue's up top. She's waving. Are you gonna talk, Sue? She's just waving. Waving. I'll tell her, picture's very clear this time. Hey, Sue,
I'm unmuted.
Yeah,
Hey.
you're okay now.
we hear you.
Well, I'll make comments if I need to.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess, we have both of the bids. Was there any questions for John from the board? I think you gave a very great presentation the last time on Zoom. It answered all the questions we had with the, can you hand me those actually? With the, contract here. I know you did say you were looking for a decision by May. We're in May now, so you're probably, you're hoping for that decision, right? Yes. Did you have anything more or anything that's come up that you wanted to talk to us about? Really feel bad if you drove all the way up here.
Well,
We
it's,
don't talk to you.
it's nice to go for a nice drive. The weather's beautiful, the clouds are pretty. Yeah, I'm in the Middlebury area, outside of Middlebury and Bridport. And we have several staff members that live in this county towards St. Albans, in St. Albans. And so we are trying to make our presence here in Franklin County. Also, we have another team in Rutland County. That doesn't matter to you folks, but we're growing our company, growing our presence, and we really want to establish a really good reputation, especially since, not that Tyler's never been in Vermont, but that my division, I really want to show the best and do the best job for towns that we have here.
So, the only thing, and I'm going off, because this isn't my copy, I'm going off of memory here.
Oh,
The
boy.
No, I think it's all good. The only question I think we had, and it was brought up by John.
Oh,
Yep.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
That's
troublemaker.
Scared me too. We were wondering about the percentages, if those are set in stone or,
well, for the payment.
for the payment,
Plan. Yeah.
if they could be negotiated. Similar to, I don't have the other contract.
Or the other company.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't have them. They're my.
Yeah, well, I can answer that.
Okay.
Maybe in my.
No, this is, it's definitely negotiable.
Okay.
We are very soft at negotiating and we make adjustments constantly. It's, when we presented, it's a proposal.
Yep.
Which means let's have a discussion and try to find a path to make everyone happy and get a job done that nobody loves to do. Or loves the results. It affects every property owner in town, right? Ultimately.
Yeah.
And so we want to do a good job. We want to feel like we're welcome and that we're getting our work done. We provide progress reports in the other towns that I do once a month. So this is what we're doing so far. We are. We completely will happy to negotiate whatever works. Because, you know, this is an impact on the budget. And I understand that. And I've worked for municipalities for a long time. And I understand how the budgets work and short-term borrowing and things come up. So we'll try to we will certainly work out something that is maybe not written in paper at this moment. Absolutely.
Okay. My memory is pretty good.
I believe there's some modifications in most every contract.
Okay. So what we were looking for, because we have a set amount of money in there now.
Yeah.
Okay, in the reappraisal fund. Obviously, we don't want to deplete that because, you know, due to obvious reasons, we need to get to the next voting budget. Well, we have to wait for taxes to come in October. So one of the things that we had discussed was a 10% down for start of work, and then a 2-year payment plan where the rest of it would be broke out. That lays it out. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. I just have what we kind of hand scratched down that day. 2-year payments starting when you start work, you know. So if you start on, what was it, May or no?
So this is a project for the following year, starting next I think,
Right,
July.
10% would lock in the contract.
10% locks in the
10%
contract.
locked in the contract. That's fine. I know that
Yeah.
that's a definite go.
Okay,
Okay.
and then, you have so you're talking a 1-year turnaround on this, where the other ones were talking a 2-year turnaround.
I think it was longer than that.
It might have been.
That has changed.
Yeah.
Starting until 2026 now.
Okay, well, that was their start date there. So,
No, I don't think they can start till 2027.
I think it went.
That was pushed back a year.
okay,
And they want to start 2026, now they can't start till 2027.
So, let's see, there's,
Yeah. Anything else? We would start in 2025. Yeah. Yeah, we were suggesting that we could start next year, and if you extend that, we can certainly find a way to extend that.
Yeah.
no, our start time is good. Yeah. Your start time is good. We were, the hard pill to swallow here is so just quick math with your 87,400, taking 10% off the top for the starting payment, and then dividing that by the 12, which is what you're saying, it would take approximately 12 months to carry it out. That would give us a payment of $6,555 a month.
right.
And at this time, due to budgeting, that money isn't in that account. Okay.
Gotcha.
So what we need to do is figure out a acceptable timeline for us to make that down payment, and then get us back around to next October, because that's when taxes are due, you know. So we vote for them in July or in March, but we don't actually receive the funds until that October. So I can't remember what we have in there right now. Do you remember?
Looking for it. Reappraisal fund.
But we budgeted this year 10K for it, but I don't think it's in there.
That's not the total. No.
That's on the total though.
See that he put that on that
Okay.
bridge, new equipment paving.
Your appraisal, where is it?
Yeah, 'cause it's not in there as a.
I was gonna say, I thought it was 40,000 or something like that.
So. I guess we need to know, how flexible is it? This other company was willing to go out 2 years on a payment plan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Does that mean like, making a certain amount of payments and then stopping and maybe the last payment being out for a duration of time and then just paying that last payment off?
yeah, I mean, we're
Something like that.
talking. We're talking next year, so theoretically, if we were to give you 10% down.
Yeah.
Which would be write off, which actually we could probably do. We could probably do the 15 that was talked about originally in your contract. We need to get to the point where.
We collect the money. And pay it out. October 20.
Right. Yeah, okay. So we need to get to a point where. We go in on the vote. Next March, and we have a number that we know what we have to come up with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sorry, but everybody didn't see that, but our number is what, 36 what? 36
36 179.
That's what we have now.
And we'd be taking the retainer fees due, correct?
Sign of the contract.
Yeah, what's the gap? The amount of what would be the,
From the total to what we have now.
yeah, or what you guys coming in. I would bring this up to others and they would probably give the blessing. Right, so we could, as long as we're getting paid during the project, a little upfront is pretty standard. And then, we could be at the end of what could be done here. But there's still the state approval, and that sometimes takes into August, September. And then once the state says we approve this appraisal, they do the 3-prong test. I mean, that could be like the final payment sometime around that time.
Okay.
I'm sure Tyler could do this. It's not me that makes these decisions, but I have a lot of weight. I can, I can somewhat be an advocate for, let's work, this is the plan they'd like to present. And then get the approval from people above me.
So the gap right now is $51,000. So,
Is that based on 10% or based on 15?
that's based on the total cost and what we have.
Right. Okay.
So at this point, we would have one vote before you even started work,
Right.
where we could vote in a sum. And then a second vote before you completed work.
Right.
So what I would request is 15% down.
Right.
Just think this through. Payments from the time you start work to the time work is completed, and a final balloon payment when state certified. A final payment.
Which would be in,
Whatever.
say, September or something.
Hopefully October.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. October. Yeah. Final balloon.
Yeah. And give
Versus
yourself that
end of
Friday.
October, that would be perfect.
Yeah, so it's October, the final payment, 15% down, payments throughout.
Yeah.
Right.
So it would be, and a final on October 2026.
Yep.
That would give us 2 rounds of voting.
Yeah.
Taxes in.
Yeah.
Makes it a little easier for budgeting, we can increase by
Yeah.
and then we can still have a little bit of a build for the next time, and I think that's where we've got to be.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I like the plan.
Does everybody agree?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I like
I
that.
don't want to overspeak.
No, I think that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
The question would be, what are the payments every month while they're doing the work? Is it, what is the amount?
Well, that would have to be. So we'd have to take,
Or we do it 2 payments, October 25 and October 26.
I think
The time period, and take the deduct the upfront and the end,
right.
and then.
Monthly, then it's October 25, October 26, take the remainder, split it in half.
Yep.
Well, that was 10%. Yep.
We get taxes, give you your 25 payment and get a taxes in 26, and we pay the balloon in
26.
October of 26.
Yeah.
Technical.
I think that would, I can't speak to say that I have to. You have to pass it on to someone else to speak, but I would say yes, and I would say let's. Okay, I would advocate to do that.
Is this your best price? This is the best you can do. He's looking at it.
Well, sometimes there's opportunities to, like we say that we will take all the photos. I think that was requested in the RFP. So there's an option to remove the photos, and I could have my staff only take photos of properties where it's needed. There's opportunities for some adjusting in this whole thing, unless you really want all new photos. Like the contract said, we will take all new photos.
We have a member of the board listers here. Do we need new photos for everything?
What's your thoughts, Sue?
I think not.
Got time.
Sorry, Sue, forgot you were up there.
I believe there's,
Not know as much.
We have a lot of photos already. So unless they put an addition or something, we don't need all of them.
That might be a negotiable thing.
right, and I wish I had my other paperwork here.
Yeah.
So that's probably 771 properties, right? Times 2 is the cost of photos. We could make a deduction for that, say, well, let's remove the photos. You want to, I mean, I guess it's not a ton of money, but
Every little.
there's, everything counts, right?
So just,
Roughing.
yeah, just roughing with the quote you gave us
Right.
here. So a 15% to start would be $13,110 on a signature. A 20% that we would hold until the end for completion payment in October, it would be $17,480, which would leave us $56,810 divided up in that years where you're working, which would leave the town with a payment monthly of $4,734.17.
That'll work.
Now, if we go in and budget that, we'll know, you know, it won't really matter what the payment is because we'll have budgeted for the full amount at that point. So, if that's something that you know, Tyler is willing to do
Yeah,
that.
I think I could pretty simply convince them of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can't say yes, they'll take it, but I'm pretty certain they'll take it. So
Okay.
I would have that conversation with them. If someone could put that in writing and as an email saying this is what we want to do. And if you also want, if you want to remove the photos to save a little more money, you could suggest that as well. Just say the
Well,
listers will take photos.
But
Oh, no, we would take photos if, I would tell the staff as they're out data collecting, assuming that they're not taking photos every single home, but just if there's a house that looks like it has changed. Houses don't change dramatically, but sometimes the tree gets cut down in front of the house, or if there is an addition, they should take the photo. If it doesn't look like the photo on the record card. Yep.
So each photo costs $2.
Yes.
I mean, you almost spend that in. You need to give it up.
Yeah.
I was right next to it so you could see what everything was.
So when do I have?
More.
ASAP. Cause I'm assuming that you're gonna want those, you're gonna work up a new contract. And could you have that to us by the 27th?
Yeah, it'll just be an amendment to
To
the
the-
contract saying this is a
Could you
change.
have it to us the week of the 27th?
Yes, we
Because
can.
we
have
won't
that.
work, and
Yeah.
you won't work on the 27th.
Yes, yeah.
Can you do the Tuesday meeting? Do we need to have the meeting?
I don't wanna put names to anything until he double checks it with his.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It's just bad. Who does that?
The issue that's
What's
come
that?
up is they requested a decision on the signing by May. And then
Yeah,
we'll take it into
go for
June.
that.
Yeah, I guess that's a question.
You do?
He needs to, so that's our proposal to Tyler.
Yeah.
Right. He needs to clarify it with him, maybe amend it to the contract and then
John,
I don't know.
in an
Okay,
email.
we'll go
Yes.
to the men.
He would like that in an email.
No.
if we could,
That's a problem then, yeah.
if I could,
Yeah.
is June 10th a good time frame for you? I know we were looking
Yeah.
for May.
I think June 10th for, yeah, that's a month,
I
right?
think
Um,
John.
yeah.
John's. We can, I mean, with the amount of work that we just did and the communication,
Yep.
this is, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say this is a verbal agreement to go with Tyler.
Thank you. Yeah,
Okay, well,
it's great.
Is that, so?
We'll make a motion that we accept Tyler's quotes for the reappraisal.
Did you?
Based on the approval and
$400.
Based on the.
based on the plan.
With the
Yeah.
payment plan to come from.
Right. Yeah. I just everything sounds wonderful. Thank you. We're looking forward to it. We're gonna do a fantastic job. I didn't realize the photos were not inside the camera system, the computer assisted mass appraisal system. That's what they call it. So you might want to take the photos. Okay.
All right.
The photos should be part of it.
I mean, it's not.
It's usually connected to the property record card nowadays. Right.
So the photos were included in that original bid.
In the original bid.
Yeah, so we're just banking on that number not going up. It can go
Okay.
down.
Yeah.
You can take as much off as you want. Okay.
I was seconding this motion.
So, motion has been made, seconded.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
I did.
If a verbal commitment pending payment plans. Signify by saying aye.
Can we just, there's no discussion before we take the vote. Pending. It should be
Yeah.
motion second, any discussion, then vote, because this feels like it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Any discussion?
Yeah, so. With the really, I understand you're quoting Robert's rules. But so the discussion was all pre,
Right.
so we've been discussing.
I just think before a vote, there ought to be, and we don't have to waste time on this now, but just generally speaking,
Yes.
just in case somebody doesn't agree or has something else that they need to add to the motion, because the motion, this is the first time the motion's come up, so
Okay.
that's all I'm.
Do you have any edits?
I don't.
That was like 2 minutes right there. We just killed it. Do I have to say that again?
Yeah.
Okay. A vote has been called and I will recall the vote since there was no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
Good discussion.
No, discussion is duly noted. I will.
Yeah, no.
I'm typing this up in an email and sending it to John.
Yes.
That's what we were.
He is gonna then present it to Tyler. They're gonna make an amendment to the contract and send it back to us. It's on the front of the contract. Yep,
And I have a card.
it should be.
I have 250 cards. I'm trying to get rid of
I
them.
was just saying. Yes, again, it's open.
Yeah, we've already, so what we need to do is we just need to get the contract back with its amended payment options and then we'll be.
Yeah, yes, and that's my cell phone as well.
So far, listeners.
Here, we'll give you.
Sue's not allowed to leave. You have to sit back down. Oh, you're not allowed to leave. John's allowed to leave. This part's done.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Sure, I'll wait.
So.
I mean, if you
part
drive
two of
past,
the
you might
list
be able
is
to
the
find
computer doesn't cost it,
I'm used to it.
right? New computer?
Yeah.
You want to stay for a minute? So, did everyone?
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Have a safe travel home.
Oh.
Did everyone see? I
Yes.
sent the quote.
Yep.
Yes.
So the computer equipment we identified, I'm trying to identify a system that'll last 7 to 10 years for them at least. There was a request for, because of the amount of real estate, stuff that they're doing, they need a second monitor. I have everything here, I believe captured in the quotes from B&H. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the quote as presented for the total amount of, if I can get my fingers to work. $1,669.26 for the replacement computer and monitor equipment and accessories for the listers.
I will second that motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
No.
Nobody?
No?
Thank you, John, for doing that.
Yes.
I thought you were thanking me for discussions. In that case, I'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You want me to give this copy to Tammy?
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead, Kathy, let me a copy. I will contact B&H to have them invoice us. I made up a PO like I did in the past for equipment. And I'm gonna come sit.
And that's free of charge, right?
That, you know, I do everything for the town free of charge.
Perfect.
Well, thank you. Thank you, John, for doing that.
You're welcome.
You also.
You have a good night, so.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Any others? Are you?
I'm not on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, I know, but we have this others where anybody else can.
Yeah, okay, well, I really have no much to say. Just the roof, I'm still working with Phil, on the roof, at the Bell House, and we talked, I called him, he called me, I called him, he called me, finally we said, let's get together, and so, that's what will happen. But we do have an interesting situation that we have the donation from a lot of nice townspeople out there on Earth Day. And they seem to be sitting there. I don't know what happened. I guess what happens is that the highway department, whoever picks that stuff up, cannot pick up something that's recyclable or high tech like a television.
Right.
And so we have to figure out a way to get rid of that stuff.
Well, some stuff has been added.
People have been adding to it.
Yes, they have.
so I think the dump, the collection down here on Saturdays, I think they take electronic equipment.
They do.
for free.
They do.
For
No,
free.
it's $2.
Is it $2 now?
Yeah. It probably depends on how big the item is. I brought down a toaster oven and it was only $2.
In the future, I can't help it, makes me feel like saying Earth to Earth Day, don't come back.
Right.
Lance is fine.
Put it there and tell them to stop.
Do I know
who it is?
I don't know.
I already told them to move it.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there was some stuff, the first, this.
We should
have stuff, I mean, some stuff.
Need that or you can get
And then
fined.
more stuff.
He's unloading his garage is what you're alluding to?
That's valuable stuff, I was told.
Well, then go donate it down to Goodwill.
We get a guess.
I wonder if we have a ordinance around littering.
State does.
Okay.
Oh, it's off 108.
Listen,
Went away, yeah.
the guy may have thought it was actually part of Earth Day, but now that we know that it isn't,
He was told it was not.
okay, then he needs to come pick up his trash.
Can't write up a letter.
Please,
Yeah.
please, Tammy.
Well, let's not.
You're gonna be charged.
Well, let's talk about wait and do that after. Yeah, let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not publicly chastise.
All right.
All right,
But,
that's all you got, sir?
well, I can go on if you want.
I mean, it's only 9 o'clock.
It's clever of the board to wear that man down talking about loose dogs and so he gave it to anyone you guys proposed.
Yeah,
That's my stuff.
I screwed up and I should ask for the discount first. Yeah. Where were we on that one, guys? Nobody slapped me on that one. So, All right, if that's our last visitor of the day, roads,
Mac attack.
somebody wake him up again. Huh?
We didn't have to do anything on that.
Come on, old man.
Did we accept that already?
I don't know if that's.
I think it's still in here.
All right.
Did we last?
We don't have, we never accepted it. No, we didn't.
Okay,
Just.
Mark's resignation.
Oh, right.
drop the ball on that one.
Yeah.
What is it? Yes,
Can we say no?
It came in between the meetings.
Do we have that option?
we do.
Not really.
No, I know, I was joking. All right, so I guess since this wasn't handled last meeting.
I don't think we had it. It was in between the meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, it came in on the 25th.
Yep.
So, I have here a letter from one of our road crew. Resigning. I feel like he put in quite a few years and we appreciate his hard work and
Yep.
dedication to the town. And wish him well on his next endeavor. Would somebody be willing to?
I would make a motion to accept his 2-week notice.
I will.
I
I'll second.
actually thought I heard that did he stick around for the remaining 2 weeks?
He was on vacation scheduled.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, okay.
And he has since parted, yes?
Good.
Okay, I know it's been
Yeah.
3 weeks since
Right.
we've
Yeah.
met, so.
Yeah.
Motion has been made and seconded.
Who seconded?
Me.
Is there any discussion?
Any discussion? No, I don't think.
No discussion?
No.
Case will call a vote. For all those in favor of accepting the resignation of one Mark Allen, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks again, Mark, for all your time
Yes.
and good luck.
Yep.
Can you get that to Tammy?
Tammy for file.
All right. Next up, road report. Nothing new, nothing crazy.
Thank you for putting the stop sign back up at the bottom. Lost the front roads.
More or less temporary, because we
Yeah.
got a hole stuck it in, but we need to pound a new hammer,
Yeah.
anchor in, because somebody obviously.
I think we got hit by one of the newer trucks by accident. Yeah, I think it just got caught on a fender or something.
Okay.
Because they were swinging towards Enosburg.
Yeah.
It's a hard
Sometime,
thing, Rich.
yeah, and that's a hard turn.
Okay, we just need to,
Yeah.
sometime we got a little more time, just go down and put a new anchor in and.
As I say, there's no concrete down now.
No.
Should we? Dig a hole, stick it in for the
Oh, like
concrete?
I said, in that little blurb, I believe that's a state stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
sign. Stop sign, they do the.
Yeah.
Legal load limit, but.
Should we notify the state sign crew? They'll probably be coming through.
Nah.
Okay.
We'll just pound it.
If you're happy, if you're happy, I'm happy. Yeah.
Oh, when we're back in the same hole, we just
Right,
jinked a couple of pieces of blacktop down the thing.
right.
Yep.
Perfect stuff.
So there's plenty of loose blacktop there. Is that what you're saying?
You didn't find film tonight.
It's been a day.
We did receive the structures grant for the engineering on the Whitney Road.
Okay.
Wait till, sounds like won't get reimbursed till after July, so I'm
Right.
trust Tyler for that one till closer to July.
Have we received any or the final payments from SEMA? No.
Every Monday morning I get a letter or a email from them saying that the deadline is approaching and we need to
All right.
finish this off, but you told them the discrepancy of.
We've already submitted that.
Yeah.
Right, because it was only like, was it like $100 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
No, the difference.
Discrepancy.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't gonna pay
It
it.
was just a few $100.
Okay,
427 or something like that.
It wasn't much. So I mean, that's why we just, instead of trying to fight them and. It's not worth fighting them,
okay.
not for that little bit. Would cost more money to.
Mac and I went over that so many
Couple times.
times.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did receive the one report, which I've touched base with you on already, about Waterville Mountain.
Yep.
Anybody else have any but it's,
I can think of.
I'll be honest with you, it's turkey season, so I've been over most of our roads and, damn good job so far from what I've seen.
From what I've seen, I agree.
Yep.
Right. So, there's, in the blacktop over by the golf course, right for the golf course coming up on.
Yeah.
Did you guys fix that?
Not yet.
That's getting kind of.
We got the blacktop that day and it was. It was the last blacktop that we had. Yeah. They're not sure when they're gonna make any more. We've still got some. We're just waiting for a little bit warmer day so we can actually work it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty
very.
good.
I rode the roads that was requested of me from our chairman.
No, I just said if you had any complaints, check.
No, I've ridden the three roads that head up my way kind of thing, and all, to me, they're all in decent shape. They have like small.
Oh, yeah.
Back roads. You know, it's not, you know, I read that thing right where one person was complaining about Witch Cat and how they've had to repair their truck because it's gone through the holes, everything. I can honestly say, and I don't speed on the roads, I was easily doing 40 down Witch Cat without a problem. There were probably like 3 spots I would say, yeah, we need to go, you know, do something because they were like watermelon size holes or so.
Was that recently?
Tonight.
Oh, okay.
Bakersfield, East Bakersfield, again.
But when
there's a couple spots on the, I mean,
Right.
overall, that road is fine.
When you got to those spots, did you slow down?
Of course I slowed down.
Okay, just.
I'm not gonna wreck my front end.
Just.
Actually, I went around it, but I'm just saying, you know, I understand what people post,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and frankly, even Joel, there's sections that, yeah, could probably use 2 minutes of attention, but overall, those roads are all solid.
We're supposed to get so much rain in the next 10 days that,
Yeah.
you know,
It's gonna be a mess.
and when it does, then it's gonna be time to start spreading chloride. So
Yeah.
it'll be scrape drag chloride and should be.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, I did read that post about Witch Cat and I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, I sped up. Cause I normally do like between 30 and 35 on the back roads. I sped up just to see how comfortable I was on there and I was doing 40 without a problem. So I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
I'll just put it that way.
those Rams aren't like Fords. They ride a little easier.
Yeah, sweetheart, get going. You gotta be careful. I don't want to get in trouble. The constable will come write me a ticket. I mean, a fine. I mean, a fee.
Any updates, Tammy? Have we received anything on the road commissioner position? No. Okay.
All right.
At this point, I mean, we did put a deadline on that of like end of April.
Yep.
So it would be my recommendation, personal recommendation, that position would default back to Mac.
Agree.
Unless there's a member of the board that would like to take that on.
Congratulations.
You're in
Mac.
crickets. Is there any other discussion before we turn that?
At some point, Josh, we are going to have to address that.
Yes.
Yes.
But Mac is, forgive me for speaking for you, very capable of doing the job, and he's done a good job with it for many years. I see no reason not to trust him to continue on.
Decides not to do it.
Right, and I feel like.
Yep.
If there are complaints about that it is addressed as the road commissioner position was open and posted.
Yep.
And there were no applicants.
Weeks, months.
At least a month, yeah.
Nikki, were you about to say something?
No. When we started looking, was it because you didn't want to do it anymore, Mac, or was that just a
It was just
standard
a discussion
to
that
see? Okay.
townspeople thought it should be separated.
Well, it wasn't just that, Nikki. Mac has been thinking of retiring.
Right.
And originally he told us that he was going to retire this fall. And I don't know if he's reconsidered that. Definitely. He's thought about it. I know that.
It's gonna have to wait till next year now. I mean.
Yeah. So we've got 18 months or so.
Next gotta
Just keep
groom
making
his
it
heir apparent, whoever that may be, either current or future employee.
Yeah.
But I would like to make a motion that we continue with Mac as our road commissioner for at least the 2024 year.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah.
Congratulations.
One, two.
Yeah.
Reader. And that can be taken off the
Yes.
roads section. Grader sales, have we had any bites on the grader? Did we receive any?
I have $20 in my pocket.
That doesn't meet the minimum bid requirement, sorry.
Let's see, who was gonna try to reach, was it Belvedere or someone that talked about it before, just out of curiosity?
Sheldon at
Sheldon?
one point.
Yeah.
Don Belvedere, actually on the phone.
Yeah. And not interested.
Sheldon called too, though, right? Did they come check it out?
I don't know. They were gonna come that afternoon. I never saw them. I
Okay.
don't know if they came after hours.
Would it be worthwhile for you to contact those two road commissioners and see if they would consider it for a lesser amount?
Belvedere, I know, was talked to, I believe it was Caterpillar. They had a used machine down there.
So they were looking at something down there, yeah.
Well, then we just stick with 2 graders and get the roads done better. It's.
Well, the
It is what it is.
problem with that is we've been
Yeah.
approached by taxpayers
Right.
asking why we haven't received
The
it.
response is we tried to sell it and no one wants to buy it.
There's quite a few
Just
actually.
because you're not here doesn't mean to say that the chat isn't going on.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
pretty.
Substantial number, yeah.
Say it was something we needed to replace, that's the
Well,
difference.
there is the benefit of having 2 graders, however, we have a 2-man crew.
Right.
We have.
Hiring a third, but
Yeah, we were in Phoenix, we have 2-man crew.
We have
not one.
a grader, now 2 graders,
Right.
an
Excavator.
excavator
Right.
Yeah.
and a payloader and trucks.
Right.
Now, we need roadside mowing done too.
Right.
So, I mean, at this point right now, with the amount of equipment we have, I feel like you could field a 4-man crew
Right,
and keep them busy without any issues at all.
I
And
agree,
you wouldn't be renting anything because we own it all now.
right. But we don't have.
Spent a significant amount of money to outfit our road crew with the equipment that they needed to get their jobs done. We're now just short of road crew.
Right.
Marky's position is gonna be a hard one to fill. He was a good operator. And, you know, we need to fill that position
Right,
as soon as possible with a qualified individual.
right.
So can I ask, so when, and I'm sorry, I wasn't really paying attention at
Early discussion, that's okay.
So, the grader, when we bought that original grader, my understanding is the amount that they were offering in trade was pitiful and just not worth.
15,000, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Yeah.
And what are we asking for it now?
45.
45.
So, I mean, I think to be good stewards of that equipment, we shouldn't be selling it for less than it's worth.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't
No,
make
I
any sense,
agree.
but at the same time,
But we
we
should,
can keep trying to sell it. I think
Yes.
that's.
Yep.
That would be the right thing. to
So
do.
we're making a motion and we continue the ad.
Is there anywhere else where we can advertise, or have we exhausted the reasonable?
Well, I have it on VLCT, so that's statewide.
Right.
That's till the end of May. And I can reboot that every month.
Have you considered Facebook Marketplace?
Do that, but one of you guys can upload. It's on the website.
Right now, I'm managing like 7 pieces of equipment on there for the school.
yeah. Yeah.
Just yeah, account.
I would suggest we wait putting it on Marketplace until we have our own Facebook page.
Because
Otherwise we're doing it.
Facebook Marketplace.
No, I don't mind doing that when the time comes. Yeah.
Choose it to, I agree.
Yeah.
We're gonna come around to the messenger for 2 weeks, and this is just the second one.
I think we keep advertising it where we are. on
Yeah,
Facebook.
We say the motion, I make a motion and we continue to advertise it on the sites that we have already established.
I will second that motion. Hey.
I am reaching out to Sheldon right now.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Is there any discussion?
Motion has been made and seconded to continue to run the ad in the current locations. Is there any other discussion?
No.
Okay. In that case, I call it to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? There we go. All right. Any others in roads?
I'm not sure if this is a roads question or not, but we talked 2 or 3 meetings ago about having the speed thing on 108.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a call to the sheriff's department. I think last time they hauled it here and then dropped it off, and Mac and I went and set it one morning, tested it out, made sure it was accurate. And
It's quite accurate.
it is.
It is.
Used to send them out, yeah.
I'm willing to run that again because I think my new truck will do better. Mac got a higher score than I
I
did.
don't think we were trying much. Bill.
I just noticed on 108, we've got
Yeah, no,
some of
that's
that is starting to build.
we really, you know what we should have done is we should have tasked our constable. with
Yes.
that. Maybe just to call out to see if we can get it delivered and then we can move it.
They have to talk to the constable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny, reach out to them tomorrow.
Actually, John, you've got a pretty good relationship.
Or John, yeah.
Can you ask him if he can?
You wanna call Chris? She's gonna call.
Oh, she's not here?
She's gonna call the state police. She's gonna call the constable and ask him to do it.
I mean, and Tammy, all he really needs to do is see if they'll just deliver it to the town.
Right.
And we can move it and set it. It would just be,
Yeah, I'd like to
a
put.
week.
I want it
On
from
the post.
Yeah. I mean, if we can keep it longer, that'd be great too, but
Half a week there, half. a
yeah,
week
I think that's what we did last time.
Yep.
Okay. That's what we did.
Talking Northwest, regional plan, get them to put the bungee strips down so we can see what actually people are driving. in.
So when we asked the last time for the speed to be reduced in
Yeah,
town
yeah.
from 40 to 25, I think is what we asked for.
Right.
They did put the strips down.
Yep.
And the state recommended speed down is 35.
Right.
Thirty.
Yeah.
30, sorry.
30. Yeah. Well, 40 by the 30, right? Yeah.
No, they don't do. I think again, it goes back to
For 25.
patrol.
But anybody's gonna.
So-
pay attention to it.
All right, anything else on roads? You're good? You're good?
I'm good.
Moving on.
John? Good. All right. Mark?
Robert's a bit of a, we have a couple copies of this out on the table. This is the assessment
Sweet.
from the Lance, and it looks like
you
between
seen
Josh and me. The assessments are showing what they suggest for the library as well as this building. This is the gentleman or the group that came out and sat with you, Mac, for the buildings. If you go in a couple pages, and I don't remember the exact amounts, but according to what I saw, the town, they were talking about
Yeah.
in the neighborhood of almost $100,000, it was 96.
96, 5.
96 something on one.
And then the library was probably, somewhere around half that. 30. So I looked at these a while ago. They have a number of recommendations for this building, for instance, every non-vinyl window they want to replace, every wood framed window needs to go, which is more out there than in here. Because they're energy inefficient. They spoke of putting more insulation in the attics. They spoke of different lighting eventually with LEDs. They talked about putting some kind of wind turbine powered device.
Panels.
Yeah, and solar power. They did account for the heaters. They suggest replacing them in a couple different types, one being propane, but we have nowhere to put a propane tank. So you gotta stick with the oil. I know they want us on
Right.
fossil fuel, but we just, and we could go with an electric forced hot air.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost a little bit more, but our electric service is so small.
Propane would have to go out back. That's the only spot you could put it.
So, I did email these off to everybody if you have an opportunity, because they're quite in depth.
Mhm.
And the study, each of them are minimum of 40 pages. And they go through top to bottom, their suggestions and everything, they do suggest otherwise. Possibly, once again, the suggestion of heaters, what are darn it. Heat pumps.
Yeah.
Talk about heat pumps again, they don't
They've been
count for
pushing
those
those.
10 degrees though, and
Yeah.
that's the problem. The inefficiencies and the problems we have in them. But they talk about maintaining the building temperatures at 70 degrees almost all year round. So the studies are very in depth. I was actually hoping Alex may be on. I also said it to him. He wasn't, that's fine. But we need to go through and figure out how we want to proceed. So I would strongly,
Sorry,
So
how
that's
many
pretty-
days below 10 degrees did we have this year?
off the top of my head,
We don't have a lot.
we have a ton this year.
Well, I
But
mean-
we're also about to change that cycle rate. where we're
Yeah,
gonna get
the El
a lot of
Nino
snow.
cycle. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. I just.
32.
Yeah,
There's some, yeah.
no, the units will go under 10, they just don't work.
Not sufficient.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And they suggest.
Yeah, these electricity, yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem, or the other problem here is our power supplier
Yeah.
is very expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, Vermont is very expensive per kilowatt.
Yeah, so, I mean, going electric.
Yeah.
As great as that sounds, I don't think it's really
Mhm.
feasible. I mean, unless you plaster this roof with solar panels, then I don't think you've got enough square footage.
Plus you're facing. Not even facing. You're not really solving it. Yeah.
Not if we put solar panels over.
Yeah.
I'm not, yeah, I'd have to agree with it. It's structurally.
We put one thing, but it burned.
Same thing with the library, they're talking about some kind of wind capturing device to
Yeah.
create power. I'm like, where are you putting that on the property of the library? I can't think of anywhere. It's right on the roof.
Yeah.
So I did share this report with the library.
How did they feel?
So at the moment, their main focus is, well, the floor is being done
Mhm.
as we speak. So there's a lot of moving parts, but that front door is we know that, I mean, that's just like coming.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, they suggest a door, they suggest a door insulation, if I remember correctly, they suggest windows. I
There are
think
a
there's a lot
couple of
of
windows, yeah.
There's a lot of things in the library that they felt that they could gain some efficiencies on with this.
The first question that we ask is, all right, so where's that money coming from? So that's,
Well, yeah, that's the grant money.
That's-
We're trying to tap into and the grant money, I can't remember if the grant money originated from partial ARPA funds that they rededicated. I don't remember. It's been a bit since we started this process. But long and short, you guys really should take a look through those reports and we need to determine next meeting what our next steps are. And we should have Alex at least on the conference because he's the guy writing the grant for it. I'm hoping that he went through it, Patty, so when you shoot him a thing, make sure that he saw these, please.
and then the other question from the library is,
You want me to invite him to that meeting?
I think he should, yeah. We need to get that decision.
will this be done in tangent, the library and the town together? Or the
Yeah, so
town- So it's not the library trying to figure it out on their own?
No, we requested when we set this up 4 buildings.
Right.
Initially. The town building, the library, and then the 2 garages. Unfortunately, they said that they were gonna peel the garages off because God only knows that one garage needs some help. Well, they probably both do, but
Better up to build a new one.
yeah, exactly. And you
Right.
could request that. I mean, that one garage is a wind tunnel as it is. Maybe we should put the turbine there.
Yep.
Get some power off of that puppy, but right under the front door, it just whisks in. But in all seriousness, so we need to go through these guys and determine how we want to proceed
So we should probably invite somebody from the library
as well.
as well.
And this will all go under one grant request.
I would reach out to Wendy and see who wants to do it. I mean, it might not be Wendy, it might be somebody else.
That's it. I mean, unless there's questions, I mean, I just wanted to get this in front of us and make sure that we put it on the 10th of June or whenever.
So not the 27th.
We haven't.
You want to should not be here. Here.
Well, we'll get there.
We haven't decided that yet.
Well, I need to know when to invite these people.
If I.
Mark off to the side, then you can go through and fill it in afterwards. All right, Personnel policy, we tabling?
Yeah, table it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Constable information, I feel like his.
Thursday night was their
just took care
meeting,
of it.
but I got a late EMS call, so I didn't get back. They were
Okay.
almost done by the time I got done. But I believe when I talked to Billy Joe the last time,
Was that, they are going to move forward with the police department, so. They had a budget proposal, see if I can get a copy of that document. And then we're looking for the towns that would be interested in have one rep from each select board be present for
yep.
that.
I still would really like to see
The budget.
their,
Yeah.
well, their budget and their manpower.
Yes, that's,
I mean,
the first paper I saw was 6.5 people they figured to do it properly.
right, but the
6
state police and the sheriff's departments can't man their departments.
Nope.
Otherwise, we would be in this issue.
Right.
What makes Enosburg think they're gonna be able to man theirs?
And that's the issue that they're looking, I mean, Richford is definitely, so it's gonna definitely be Richford and them together.
Yeah.
Montgomery doesn't want to, Wiltshire said maybe, we told them possibly. Franklin said no, Sheldon said possibly. So those are the towns right now that they're looking at, but that's all the information I have.
Yep. No, fine. Grant writing fund discussion.
Table it till next time when he's here.
When Alex is here.
Yeah.
Okay. Warrants and reports have gone around.
Yep.
Review of the mail. And it is a good day for me. We have the quote from Todd here for adding the names to the.
Just one name.
Just one name.
Yep.
And that's from Champlain Monuments,
Right.
total of $345.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
Um,
Looking for a motion before I tell him yes or no.
and just a question, Todd, we
Yep.
have. We have only the one name at this. time?
Right now,
Okay.
yes.
And there's, are we,
I've got the committee, I just haven't had a chance to get the committee together, and then once we get together, we're gonna make an actual form
okay,
that people will fill out, that'll be easier to say if you qualify for it or don't qualify
Okay.
for it.
I
But it's been on, I think, don't quote me, it's been several years, and Rebecca Allen's been really
yeah.
looking into not using it, so that's why I'm trying to get this.
Multiple at once, or,
It's the same, it's based on a number of letters,
okay,
basically, and the font size, I think is what Jeff told me. The owner.
if somebody would like to make.
I'd make a motion that we accept that amount of, thank you, my eyes isn't that good, that amount of
$345.
$345
Yep.
for the purposes of adding a name to the Veterans Monument.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any other discussions? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
We
There's no giving us all
Five on that, we had 0.5 on that, not with the decision, but with the monument itself.
What's that?
And then Todd and I were discussing this
Yeah.
earlier.
that-
You know, the monument is earmarked as for veterans of
Veterans.
foreign wars, right?
It's a veterans memorial, it doesn't say right, it has the years listed, but it doesn't say,
I don't know why we exclude
yeah.
any veterans who live in this town and serve
Want
our
to be on-
government.
yep.
or so forth.
That's what I want to talk to the committee about. There's kind of different ways that I'm seeing it done in other communities. A lot of communities are doing the bricks like we did for the National Fire Academy for your grandfather. They do that where they have a bricks on the floor and then the names are engraved in the bricks. So that might be a way to honor all the other veterans that don't fit that particular monument.
Yeah.
So it's just something we can look at down the road, but definitely, that's what I wanted. It's confusing because when I looked at what I got from Linda, it said Veterans of Foreign Wars, but when you look at the monument, it says Veterans Monument.
Yeah.
So to me, that means anyone that's, fits one of those categories could actually be put on the monument. So that's kind of why I'm trying to develop the form. Because I could look everywhere and I couldn't find anything that we had in our town stuff that says, here's how, because I think it originally came when we did it from the old wooden plaque that used to be on the common.
For my time.
And so, actually, it used to be, actually it was in here somewhere, they had it, and so they used that to go by.
Okay.
That might be it over there, yeah. Yep.
So that's what they tried to replace with that out there.
Okay.
Yeah, like I
But I
said,
don't find, like a lot of towns, if you go look at the veterans monument for the town, there's an actual form that says, here's the criteria to meet. Getting put on that. I can't find where we ever had that.
Yeah, because I think I've actually seen that in the stamped, almost like those up there.
Yes.
Right next to the monument.
Yes.
That say.
Yep.
These are the names of the
Yeah.
men and women who served in
Right.
wars
Yes.
overseas or whatever, you know.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's your work. I didn't,
I was gonna say, and I like the idea of a podium out there that describes what it is entailing.
yes.
So just.
Yep.
I don't know, does Tammy, do you need a copy?
I'll give you a copy. I get
There we
the,
go, that'll get the yes on it. Is that from you? Wow, let's get your name on top.
It is from me.
So this is a call from small towns. It actually went out to all of us because I remember reading this. Hello, Bakersfield Select Board members. I wanted to make sure you all received this email and wanted to encourage you to consider an application. I think this would be a great resource to get funding for some of the town buildings in the village. While I would be happy to discuss providing application support for the town, I wanted to be clear about my motives here. I am sending this to you as a resident who would love to see some outside resources poured into our community, $200,000 to $450,000. I hope this will review the opportunity below discussed at one of the upcoming meetings. This is again from Alex. So I think what we do,
He's coming next
he's
time.
coming next meeting. I think. Okay.
we decided the meeting.
Because I would like to keep this on
Yes.
file in the new mail, so don't take it out and put it on table, but until Alex comes and we can discuss it.
Yep.
And if everybody else sitting at this table can remind me when he comes in to cut this out.
Yep.
Here we have the letter from Nancy Patch on the next steps. This was back.
Which we can do this.
Not gonna read that. It went to. It can be read, but I feel like we're all on the
This
same
should
page.
actually be kept somewhere. because-
Yes, that should go. We should almost. Yeah, it's for the Bakers, for the mountain.
An actual, just
That's-
folder on it, yeah.
Should have a file on that.
Folder for Belgium.
It's another copy of the same letter. This could be why it's.
I've seen it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interested parties from. Peter Pochop. Bicycle and pedestrian program grant opportunities. Soliciting projects through the V-Trans bicycle and pedestrian program. Improve access and safety for bicyclists and pedestrians, reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
You get a flashing.
That's what I'm doing here. Projects maybe combined projects favorably. Facilities that address documented safety concerns such as high crash locations. Connectivity with overall bicycles and pedestrians.
Crossing,
Does it say that somewhere?
that is a place for pedestrians could be.
So this looks like. Shared use paths, pedestrian crossing improvement, including median. Islands, pedestrian signals.
Yeah, so you can get those signs.
So
Maybe.
I'll give that to Alex.
that's an Alex.
It's an
this to Alex. And tell him we would like. Maybe make a note on the bottom for solar powered flashing. Pedestrian lights,
crosswalk light.
crosswalk lights that have the push button. So it's activated by,
Would it pay for the radar thing too? This, like, we just put in?
yes,
Little.
which we have the tabled item from Gary.
And would it pay for that, Josh? And the Kingsburg just put on all their roads now, they got those little signs with the solar. power?
On red
No.
is it's focused primarily on pedestrians and bicycles, so like adding a bike lane
Oh,
or
Right.
a crosswalk.
Yep.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily a speed sign thing, yeah.
That would be. I mean, oh, There's, this goes with it. Oops. That goes with that.
That goes with that letter?
Yeah.
I haven't found it yet. That
That
letter
goes with the one I just gave you.
Yeah. Alex, here it is.
And if you can put this with it for Alex, this is the information that Gary gave us
Right.
about the crosswalks they just put in Enosburg. That should give him at least a number. A lot of people emailed us on the 23rd. Was the 22nd like a? really good meeting?
So.
This is Tommy O'Connor.
Yeah, he's coming.
Okay,
I'll
he
have to
says,
get it.
Good luck, Tom.
okay, he says,
Get some
Thank-
peace.
I'll treat you kid like high schoolers. I'm just gonna stand here until you're all done.
It's discussion.
Yeah, we'll discuss after.
One at a time.
I don't have time reading this damn stuff. Thank you all again for the discussion yesterday. I'm happy to see that people were civil and apologies were offered. As the ED here at VASA, I am all about networking and supporting others in order to have the best outcome possible, regardless of whether or not VASA returns to Bakersfield. If there is ever a need for more discussion, please never hesitate to reach out to me. As I mentioned, I live right down 108 in Jeffersonville and can be reached on my cell phone, which I will not give out. Thank you again for the hard work and great select board meeting.
That was the one that we had, yeah.
Yep. That's a pat on the back for all you guys. I wasn't here, so.
Belvedere Mountain Road.
Look at that, we already covered this.
Yeah. Cool.
There's the call to Vermont small towns again. MERP mini grant applications.
That's what it is.
That's for small grants. We didn't have to go with that.
$4,000 aimed at capacity buildings, outreach and education.
Couple windows.
Well, we're gonna put that under a big grant.
Okay, that's, I file that under G. And this looks like a. This is already, this is the liquor license.
Right, we already done.
Did it.
Yeah, we did that.
We even circled, yeah.
Yes. It's all done. Wait, we're done that.
Yes, it was. That one was, that's how long you were.
That was a special meeting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right,
that was the
that's right, yeah.
special meeting.
Yeah.
That meeting was special.
Yeah.
That was the special. That was, yeah, it is a special meeting.
Right there.
I want,
Was that for the special meeting?
it was for a special meeting.
I feel special about that meeting.
We can be just.
That meeting,
They're all special.
You stop.
Josh, you're losing control, man. Hey, we're all in this boat together.
You get.
This is determination services, town of Bakersfield, attention personnel. We are the office that makes disability decisions in the Social Security Administration. We're writing you because we need more information about. Okay, this is a ongoing. Can I call for an executive session?
Sure. I'll make a motion that we go into an executive session to discuss whatever the email is Josh has.
Personnel is the
Personnel.
topic.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. No discussion.
No discussion.
Executive session.
Nope.
You can't have the discussion because we're not an executive.
Go ahead, Todd.
Make the motion.
I'll make the motion that we come out of executive session.
And I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
In executive session, personnel paperwork was completed and filed. Next up, well, we reviewed the mail. Sweet.
You're all done.
Brigham Academy. If you've got an update, you should have done it at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have done that at 5. The issue was the verbiage on the warning. And rather than take the chance that something will be challenged by the state. Yep. I made the decision to postpone the meeting and warn the meeting exactly per their template.
Makes sense. Yep,
So when's the meeting?
We haven't set a date yet.
the 27th.
That's on fine.
Yeah.
That is on the date of the meeting.
Can I request if there's any possibility of having that meeting any later than 5
Oh,
o'clock?
we're gonna do it at 7.
There you go.
And it's not gonna be on the same night as the select board meeting.
Perfect.
That's, yeah,
Yeah,
good.
You imagine
excellent.
if we've been here since fall.
I would be, yeah.
More than that. Dave.
Not a good day for that.
So I. In the papers to sign, because I feel like you done with your update?
Oh, I am.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Papers to sign. I have well, this is awesome. I have a liquor license application
Okay.
for a start date of April 27th and an end date of April 27th.
That means they better be done by midnight then.
I think that,
Who did that?
yeah,
Then it got put back in the mail and never got filed, so they ran without it. It's for Crossroads Maple.
And actually, we decided to give it to them for the year.
right. We've had it in time. Yeah,
Right.
The fee they paid was for a day.
right.
Is there a day thing? They really can have a liquor license for a day?
That's what it says here.
Well, what I said originally, I still stand by. If.
I thought we had to sign it.
But they didn't say that it was approved for a year, because that's what you.
So just maybe the appropriate fee for the year.
And happens if,
So,
whatever, she's not gonna follow up, I mean.
So that's what.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
wait, let's go there instead of bar?
Yep.
Do I need, does this one need to be approved?
No,
That was approved. It happened.
yeah,
Just skip it, Jeff.
It was for that,
There you go.
yes. It just didn't get pulled out of your file.
Your G.
That's fast.
All right.
There's the question.
Any,
Talk about the meeting date.
I have several, so I'll let other people know this.
John, you do realize it's,
I know what time it is. It's not my fault. I said Nancy should come to a different meeting. Go ahead.
she talked for 2 minutes.
it was canceled because the verbiage was wrong.
Right,
Due to ADA requirements.
right.
One of the others.
Yes.
I gave you, Nikki, I think I printed both of these, but they're ADA, states the website. If you can make sure Sarah Jo gets that.
Yes,
Because there is an additional requirement websites.
yes, I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah, and we actually have until 2027 to comply.
Okay.
But
I
we're,
think she knows that.
I'm sure she does.
She probably does.
I've not talked to her yet, but I will keep that separate for that meeting. Yes.
You don't need a change in our website to
One tonight.
and you're gonna give me the verbiage they sent me.
Soon as we set a date.
Yep, you know that.
Don't lose it.
That didn't need to be meeting time. Sheesh.
So,
John,
we're still looking for an update on the roof, and the last I heard, Josh was asking a neighbor or a friend
Peter.
who's gonna come fix the roof.
Yep.
Do we have an update?
I haven't seen him. Believe it or not, my neighbor is very elusive.
He will be at the library this week.
There you
Can
go.
can you tie him down and find, oh, you're not at the
I'm
library.
at the library.
We need to find out about the roof, because it's just leaking in a hole up there.
Yeah.
And now the one guy who went up in that cubby space or whatever, he no longer's here, so, and the hole's over there, John.
All right.
Roof, done.
Done.
Waterville Mountain Road. Right by Lucas James Memorial Pavilion,
Yeah,
the building that was pushed down. Are we going to request that they clean that up before the kids get out of school and wind up getting hurt on that? That is a pile of nastiness.
So we've had this problem before where we go in and we ask people to clean up their property. And the issue we've run into in the past, not saying that it's off the table, but the issue we've run into in the past is if you do one,
You gotta do.
you have to do them all.
Right.
So that includes junkyards,
Mhm.
just random crap equipment left in fields. It's anything considered an eyesore to the public.
Right.
And that opens us up to a law.
You can't pick one and only do one.
Right.
I was just looking at the health and safety across from a youth place, right, where kids are gonna be playing. They'll be all over that darn thing this summer.
Well, technically, they should be on the other
On the-
side of the road.
I agree, but you were a child once.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Do we need to? Yeah, you can't burn it. Because we talked about that before because it's too close to the power lines and all. But yeah, oh, if somebody could, but that's not what we're suggesting. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yep, no, that's, and I'm not saying it's off the table, John. I'm just saying that that's an issue we've run into in the past.
No, I hear you completely. We've already touched on the ADA piece. I can cross those off. Oh, so Tammy provided me another piece from our fine legislative government that's doing a testimony on a bill impacting our open meeting laws, right? So I just wanted to assure, and you may or may not have seen this, Tammy just handed it to me before the meeting. They're requiring certain things for us to hold meetings, a minimum of like 30 days. For us, the town of Bakersfield, we've been ahead of the curve the whole time. We upload ours to YouTube, we supply the channel, and frankly, every meeting I've recorded is up there. When I will remove the oldest meeting is when YouTube says we're running out of space and I have to peel a meeting off to add a meeting. That's, and it's much more than the 30 days they're requiring, and if YouTube lets me put 100 up there, I'll put 100 up there. The other portion of this piece, right, where it was talking about public television type things, we can't control what Northwest Access does, but I send them the same videos that are on the YouTube channel go to them as well to post. So it's in multiple locations, but I think by looking at what these requirements are, 4 pages, just perusing it real quick, I think we meet it. So I think we're safe with the open meeting. At least today we are. Who knows? Because Vermont likes spending our money in the town. So they were the main things. The other piece was something that Lance and I discussed. Some folks are requesting to be able to view the meetings because the TV's facing us and they can't see participants and or presentations. And I know that we've already approved the expenditure for the Lister computer and all. But I was going to put forth that we put a TV on this back wall. I know this is very important document. It's, we can put it on that wall over there. But we should mount a TV if the complaint of our constituents are that they can't view documents and such being shared, which are infrequent, but a reality that we could put a TV back here, wall mount.
Are we gonna get the never ending?
Flares?
Yeah.
No,
I mean-
between that TV and this TV.
You may have a glare.
This one here.
We could mount it over there if they want it. That's a good point as well.
Then I gotta go like this every time.
No, Josh, this is a second TV. We're keeping that one there. I'm requesting an additional.
She just said, can we move that one over there?
Oh,
That answer is no.
no, that answer's no.
Unless we turn the table.
Yeah, now we're all cut a corner.
And we gotta move all the.
Constituents. But the thought process is that we, give
Can
the feedback.
I ask a question? I know you said something about a wall mount.
Yeah.
Couldn't we just buy another one of those and put it on the backside of that wall?
On the backside of it,
Well, wouldn't that be just as easy? Mount it back.
Basically, that would be the lowest profile.
Yeah.
I
Go with a smaller TV and just put it right on the backside of that one?
Can you mind if I look at the back of that?
Can I mind? No, do I? No,
Do you mind?
I don't. I asked my mother, I haven't minded since day one.
That's a good.
I guess we could be higher or lower, we'd have to be.
Can you do the bolt stuff if you're?
We'd have to roll another one up there, we'd have to get more rubber tire, no one has rubber.
Nobody. Yeah, it's a wrench.
Yeah, I feel the job, but I think it was better out of the way, and we already had.
That is, no, you put something over here, then you're drilling into walls, then you're looking for studs, then you're.
No, I agree.
Over there, I think that's a very simple fix. I think. The only problem with that pole
Meeting day.
is town meeting day.
Yeah.
you're gonna have it, because it's gonna be on an angle, so your constituents can see it. So it's gonna be facing this way, it's not gonna be
Right.
flat. If you go right here, even if we took and slid this table back to the backside of those poles,
Mhm.
then they can see exactly, you know. I'm not worried about those people. If they have to look up like this to see what's being shared,
The people-
that's,
move.
that's their problem.
From the table further back.
Category.
That's what I'm saying, just slide the table back. I mean,
I guess. Who's
These-
hanging it?
I mean, if we get the stuff, it's, what'd you
Yeah.
say? It took you 5 minutes to do the last one.
Well, it took me a little bit, it wasn't long, I donated the mount, and I had to go over to Valencourt and get.
Hose clamp, or exhaust clamps, yep.
Exhaust clamps. I mean, we could go higher and tilt it down.
You're at the same height.
Like, yeah,
I could try to go the same height, I'm just concerned about the, I guess I could go in between the bolts.
Especially that.
then you don't have to run extra wires.
Cables and all that stuff.
You plug in right there, your USB is plugged in.
The long run of the HDMI again.
Why can't you just get a split?
I don't know if we could split an HDMI.
Absolutely.
No,
You
can't.
plug into it and it's got two wires that come in. Seen it, done it.
My kid, okay.
Yeah, I had one in my sugar house.
Try it. All right, what's the worst that happens? We can't do it.
The Y cable cost us $10 and we're out $10.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely look at another mount.
I want it below it, just below it too. You could-
Well, Tammy doesn't like it below it, because then, you know, when she hits her next growth spurt, she might hit her head.
You know,
I remember you saying it had to be raised.
Yeah. it's just-
I would say I walked underneath it with no issue.
and we could buy off the power, I guess, too.
Yeah,
So,
or even if you just brought in one of the little surge protectors,
yeah,
plug that in, bang, bang, plug them both in.
no, yeah,
Y cable that, everything's in one spot, you don't have to do anything extra.
No.
It's just,
possible. I can't tell you, I can't with the TV anymore, my shoulders.
So do we need to have a motion to approve doing this?
Well, that's what I was going for first, Nikki, but apparently we did want to figure out how it works.
I mean,
We're in discussion. Too.
So what I'm at is I want to make a motion that we purchase a similar size TV.
Is that?
I don't know the size of that.
I feel like it could be significantly smaller.
We can go smaller.
I think you could go with the 32-inch.
Yeah.
Okay, 32, perfect. Whatever the size, that we purchase a TV, 32-inch TV to mount on the backside of this TV with all the required hardware and all, and we hang another TV for the gallery to see.
For the public view.
There you go. That's a better way for the public view.
I would second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any other discussion?
It's been discussed to death.
Just making sure they're doing it right there. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Here we go. Any others? Seeing none.
What day is the next?
Oh, what day's the next meeting?
One more, there's two more things. One is the meeting day.
Yeah.
We do have, you could give me sign language all you want, Josh. The meeting day.
The 27th doesn't work?
Seventh is not working for at least one of us,
I won't be here.
two of us.
All right,
One of us.
all right, let's see here.
You don't have a quorum. Yeah, so you're gonna need to tell them that. when we're
I didn't
opening
realise
stuff.
that it was Memorial Day too. I bet that's not a good,
Do it Wednesday.
it's Bassett, he'll be out.
Are we looking to move the meeting or are we just looking to do the next meeting? We will have to come in sometime on that weekend or the very next morning to sign warrants.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Yes,
Wednesday night.
so
Wednesday
We're
night.
also doing something on the 10th. We committed to,
Oh.
Right, that's it. But the tenth is our normal meeting night.
Right.
We're just doing it on.
that was just a Pebble Hill visit an hour earlier. I mean, I honestly, Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, my kid had a game today too, so it wouldn't really matter. Tuesday. I could be here. The 28th. Or the 29th. Yeah, I could do Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wednesday.
You can do Wednesday.
I'm
Wednesday.
good for Wednesday.
She's
I
in
should be on
England.
vacation.
She's in England.
So we won't
Yeah,
have.
funny. She'll be having a point.
Wednesday, or.
Wednesday, the 29th.
Yep.
At 7.
So.
We're probably
Oh,
gonna have.
no,
to
shit,
make
never
a
mind.
Special, what, no?
I can't do the 27th.
Can't do it?
I can't do the 29th. No,
Oh, okay. I can do.
I thought that was my wife's.
Oh, it's your wife's what now?
No, I thought it was my wife's meeting. It's
Yeah.
my meeting.
So we're doing Tuesday, the 28th.
I can't.
Tuesday, the 28th at 7. I mean, realistically, we need 3 of us here. I mean, Todd, if it's,
No, it's just a fire meeting.
okay.
I would suggest that we ask Tommy to come the same,
The 10th,
the 10th.
June 10th. Listen, we don't want a heavy meeting agenda anyhow on the 20th.
Well, on the.
No, not if we don't have the full.
Right.
Whenever Nancy's coming,
Nancy.
She's coming the 24th.
Right.
All right, Nancy's 24th.
wouldn't it make sense to have him come on the 24th?
Well, what does he want to discuss?
Oh,
He would, okay, the benefit to him coming back to the town is they will do the enforcement.
Like, I
And the-
So they promised that beforehand
Well, but
and it never.
there was some other stuff.
the other person, yeah.
Before
Right.
he's here with me.
So move to June 10th.
So
He said.
why can't he come the 28th and plead his case? And we'll be very upfront with him and say, no decisions are going to be made tonight.
Right.
And we'll have to stick to that. Because I feel like, I mean,
First of all, he's a different director.
Yeah.
Like you said, other people have left.
Yeah.
Which has been a good thing,
yep,
the entitlement people.
Yes.
And you sounded great.
He sounded like somebody who wants to work with
Yep.
the town.
I told him all what you're saying right now.
Right.
Said that's why you guys were out, because you didn't enforce anything, you didn't keep up the roads. you didn't-
Actually, the reason they were out is because
They left.
as soon as we said that we were gonna enforce the $10 and.
Yeah,
That.
Right.
Up with our roads.
that's what he told me.
I think it's a new era.
Yeah.
It's
it
a
seems.
new start.
Let's hope.
That's the feeling that I got, and I was
He will, I think he's gonna propose that we recognize Vasa's permit, and that way they would use that to enforce our permit and theirs. That's kind of what he was saying,
Okay.
which.
I'm willing to
Because I
hear him
think
out.
before, you're right, Josh, he said it wasn't getting enforced before, and it was something to do with the tags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
I am more than willing to hear. And we told him that when we,
you had the last.
yeah, when we enforce the tickets, this is something we're gonna try.
Right,
If it works, great. Not saying it's off the table in a couple of years, but.
Public response, the
Right.
difference
Yeah.
was amazing.
yeah,
Like, we had people in here every week complaining.
Yeah.
And then we had people in here saying it's so much better.
Yeah.
So you've really got a hurdle
yeah.
Yep.
to,
The good and the bad together.
yeah.
Any others?
No,
No,
no.
Any others?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Aye. Aye. Have a good night.
Oh.
Adjourn.